he was barefoot. Is that still the case? Is he barefoot? Because I know on Facebook somebody posted a picture of these could be his shoes, or is that so he is presumed to be barefoot at this point?
What I can say is that his mom says all of his shoes are accounted for at the house. I'm not going to say that he's barefoot.
All right.
Allegedly!
Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is Lady Freedom here coming at you with another raw narrative. Here's a brief disclaimer for tonight's show. Let's watch.
That's ignorant! Allegedly, that's ignorant! Ignorant.
Judgment, Aslı.
Oi, you read my thoughts. You've got the shinin.
You mean shining?
Shh, you wanna get sued?
Judgment, Aslı.
You just use that shin of yours to call me and I'll come a running. But don't be reading my mind between 4 and 5. That's Willie's time.
Hey, yo, boss. I love it when he does that.
Let's watch.
Don't get me back to good bullshit.
Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is Lady Freedom here coming at you with another raw narrative. So good to see all of you guys. Happy afternoon, Dragon Tribe. Good to see you guys. You had me laughing in the back here. I saw Don Emery. Good to see you. And Astrology for Mystics with Jen. Hey Jen. Also saw Mark Klein. Thanks for being here. Sasha, thanks for keeping up with the replays. I know some of them have been long lately, but we've really gotten into some really good conversations. So I hope they're enjoyable and long. And I don't know what mom acts like this, Mark, because that's one thing I cannot identify with Katie on. I'd be right outside the courthouse too, or wherever I had to be, the sheriff's department, knocking on windows. Hey, it's me again. You know, kind of reminds me of like Rose from that show, with Charlie Sheen, you know, where she just like kind of hops over the balcony. That would be me. I'd be like, hi, it's me again. Hey, Diane, good to see you. Leslie, keeping it real. Hey, good to see you. Thanks for being here. Hey, Show Poodles. Mark says, I worked in heavy equipment in Gary, Indiana. Most didn't look like Fat Chrissy. I don't know how he gets up in that crane looking like that, Mark. And then also, I just, you know, I get like 5 feet off the ground and I'm like a little cat in a tree. So I definitely couldn't get up there myself, but I don't know how he does either. Just to be honest, it's so good to see all you guys. Hey, Valley Gal. Hey, Cece. Thanks for being here, Cece. And Mama, good to see you. And Lisa B. Always, good to see you. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate what you said. Let's see. I missed it, though. Said this is a safe place to talk about true crime. And I really do love being able to talk true crime cases with you guys. We talk about a lot of cases. We compare cases. And I just love it. I don't know where that darn comment is. Okay, either way. Hey, Narita. Good to see you. And Deanna Sanchez. Good to see you. Deanna, sorry about that. And good to see you, Sasha. Our potential perp has ties to Nashville. Interesting. Well, like Live Love Nashville was all up in helping on the search efforts, right? And then you don't hear about them until Pigfest. So I thought that was pretty interesting too, Sasha. I mean, you know, this case is enough to make your head spin. Then you go grab the, thinking cap for a while. Then you go grab the tinfoil hat. You're putting on many hats to try to figure out what in the hell is going on here. Now, I wanted to play the second part to Web Sleuths, but I realized that I put in the Sling Blade, right? Because like a lot of people didn't see Sling Blade. It's Billy Bob Thornton. It's it's set in Arkansas. It's kind of, I don't want to say it was an independent film because it was popular, but it was kind of like a B movie, right? Where people didn't really see it. And so half the people probably didn't know what the hell Chris was doing. Most of us did. He busted out his Union Brothers with his phone. Most have them, right? Yeah. I mean, look, I've never heard a guy. My dad's a union. He's passed away, but my dad was a union carpenter, was a foreman, and I've never heard him come home and say, "Wow, that was a boring day at the job site." That really threw me off, Mark. Just coming from somebody who has a dad that does that, also married carpenter. So yeah, weird, right? Hey, Tina girl. And so I'm like, nobody says that, right? Most guys are like tired when they get home. They want to like chill, and they're tired because they worked hard all day in the heat, whatever, in the elements. If it's cold, Gary, Indiana, cold, right? I'm from Chicago, so definitely know that area. Also have equipment, also heavy equipment isn't that hard, especially his job, trust me. Well, he's able to like talk to people on a panel, pay attention to the chat somehow. Sometimes I know you can't really see the chat. Like whenever I've gone onto people's panels without two phones or the computer, I have to go into some other device to look at the chat. So if he's got like other devices going, and God only knows, too much, I wouldn't want someone operating, quote, heavy machinery. It sounds heavy duty, right? And it is, and not paying attention. Hey, Veronica, good to see you. And sorry, I came on a little bit later than expected. I was going to do a morning show, and then I went postal, meaning I had to go pick up some packages from the post office. So that's why I'm a little bit late. Listen, watch Upchurch about what happened in Nashville with the local jammer with his security. It's important and relevant. I will, Sasha. Will you send me a link in my email to it? I do follow Upchurch, but I'm not sure how long ago he posted that. And I don't get all the notifications. Hey, Ann Reynolds, good to see you. Hey, Michelle, good to see you. Thanks for being here. Hey, Deanna D. We have our Deannas in the house today. Hey, Kiki, good to see you. Perfectly Imperfect Boy Mom, thank you for being here. I still didn't look at your email. I remembered whenever I was watching something else, and I can't remember what it was, and I was like, I need to go look at the shoes. It was something about the shoes, right? Because we were talking about the shoes, and I'm like, I don't know if those shoes were really, just bought for him, or like if his shoes were growing, if his feet were growing so fast that he needed new shoes, things like that. We were discussing that. and Perfectly Imperfect Boy Mom's sneaking in, taking pictures of shoes for me, which I really appreciate it. I've just, it's been busy, and I've been looking into, kind of the older videos that I did with a lot of comparisons in them already. Because it's hard to kind of find all of those. And I did hours of videos comparing, their statements, because I think it's important. Again, I've already kind of in my own mind cleared Seth. And maybe that's wrong of me. But I've just been around and seen way too much not to. Also, I have had the pleasure of talking with Seth on a personal level before. So I kind of got a better feel. I think I would feel differently. There's a statement coming up by Elevated Goof, right? He does say some stuff that's, I think is pretty decent, right? Contrary to what he's done to participate and harass me. But, if I had talked to Katie, I would probably have a more human to human experience with her as well, or Chris, maybe, possibly, but I don't think so. Like me and Chris, I think me and Chris are like oil and vinegar. I don't think we'll ever mix, but that's just because been there, done that. I'm not easily manipulated. I used to be pretty naive and a little bit gullible, and I started to realize that, like, not everybody's really nice and not everybody has the best intentions. Most of the time people come to you for a reason. Yes, I believe that in a kind of cosmic, whimsical way, whatever. But also some people come to you deliberately in order to hurt you or to get information from you or in order to just be a dick, right? Sorry, but that's it. And Mark says union labor, labor union works really hard. I agree. And some people are lazy though. Like I've seen a lot of, lazy guys that don't show up for work and, they'll show up like Monday and Friday, meaning they get one day of work and then they get their paycheck. They're like, I'm good, and then there's some dependencies, and stuff like that, drinkers and stuff like that. But, I don't fault Chris for that. I even said it in the live last night because he was like, everybody's like, you're drunk on web sleuths, which I think he was a little bit tipsy, but so what, Who am I to tell him not to drink in his own home when he's just on the internet? He's not driving, right? He's not operating a crane, hopefully. But I mean, again, to me, that doesn't matter. Another thing that doesn't matter to me really is like Katie and having her affairs or relationships, although it is going to come up in this live, right? But to me, it's irrelevant. It's like a salacious little detail that, maybe we would talk about on a gossip hour or something like that. But as it pertains to the case, I don't see how it pertains to the case, right? It's just kind of like a detail that maybe just goes to show the way Chris and Katie weren't really getting along as well, or they were on the rocks, and that happens. And we've talked about it before. Codependency plays a big role in that too. When you're seeking out someone before you're even done with the relationship you're in, kind of a thing. Not to say that things don't happen. And I think that Katie is, a pretty lady. I never thought she was ugly. I never called her ugly. Chris, on the other hand, woof. Veronica, I'm just playing around, Chris. Calm down. Veronica says, girl, I don't care. Or I don't know when you went live. I was like, yes, lady is live. Aw, whoop, whoop. Thank you, Veronica. Thank you. I'm trying to get a good pattern during the day, and consistency, it's not. Operators union, not so much, says Mark. Thank you. I appreciate the male perspective because I don't know these things. Like I said, if I had to try to get up in that crane, it would not happen. I would get like 3 steps up there and be like, I need help, like seriously, cat in a tree. I'm not one for heights. And I've been in the big skyscrapers and things like that, but I get an uneasy feeling, especially if nothing's surrounding me, because you're climbing up that thing, and I mean it's tall. I used to go swim over when I worked at hotels. Like we had access to any of the pools and stuff like that, but one of them they had like this huge tower next to them, and then the like cell guys would be climbing up it, and those things are like all the way up, right? and I would just be watching them in the pool, like, holy cow, you know, like, it's scary to me. Thank you, Town Chat, for greeting everybody. You guys are all so nice to each other. I appreciate you. I appreciate the kindness. Apple Creek is a channel to go. Okay, Apple Creek. Isn't he Creek Squad, Sasha? Am I not down enough? I don't know. Okay, Creek Squad, Apple. I have apples sitting next to me in a bowl. Green ones, by the way. They were really good looking at the store. Hold on, let me get my pen from my little drawer here. Sorry, it just shakes things up or it's loud. Apple Creek, and I grabbed an apple or a red pen. All right, Church. Gotcha. Thanks, Sasha. I will check it out. Is it on the second channel where he does it? Because I know he was doing true crime a little bit here and there. Like he spoke on it. I got a clip of him from the Summer Wells case too. So TL had videos on stuff that was at Worsham's. Yeah, I know. Yeah. I don't want to really go back and look over TL stuff though, because it's a lot of incoherent rambling in my opinion. I used to be okay with it because I was in the chat and I was talking to people and it was different. It was a lot different, right? And I also thought she was for Sebastian. But yeah, I don't want to use any of her content because I don't want to get copyright striked and, you know, start drama on that. She could keep her content. But I have played it before, you know, and I was, I mean, hey, there was a time where she was passing out flyers. It doesn't matter what the intention is behind it. She did pass the flyers, you know. Worsham's, however you spell it. I watched it and seen the guy in the white pickup truck, and that picked it up. Doubt the video is still available now. Well, a lot of them are not. See, I mean, even with the poker party, I was seeing if anybody had any clips of that, because that's one thing that I would want to explore and take a chance on. I'm not going to lie, because I mean, there's not a lot of information about it. For her not to have any knowledge or have been there prior to that, it's funny that she has a lot of knowledge of it. Now, people talk, right? And talk is cheap. So some work out unions, some work for companies. Yeah. And it's big in Chicago, Mark. It is. It really is. You know, because they have good benefits and stuff like that. Like, that's the good thing about the union is they have great benefits. Hey, Astrology for Mystics with Jen. Hey, GA64. KP and Sebastian's shoes were so similar at the Texas Roadhouse. They were, Deanna. Good point. Maybe a TC sleuther can measure to see if they were wearing the same size or close to the same size. I mean, it looked like the same. Like I had commented on this very subject before, and they definitely looked like the same size, in my opinion. You know, and I was looking at them and I'm like, why are their shoes so similar? But then again, you know, I mean, a lot of the running shoes and stuff, you can't tell whether it's a guy's shoe or a girl's shoe. I mean, you can't. So I don't know. It's so hard though, because then we have half sizes. If she was a half size, she would really have to stuff her foot in there. But then again, you know, like say Katie wears, you know, a 10.5, which I don't think she does. She doesn't look like she's got terribly big feet, but they look pretty normal, right? I mean, I know people who have really teeny little feet, and it's so cute. My friend has to shop at the kids section. Sometimes. Veronica says it's hard. I honestly don't mind if you're late, no biggie. Yeah, it is. Well, it is just because it's like things come up during the day, and then also like the landscapers will be out and stuff, and I'm like, of course. And I never know when they're going to do it, you know, and they don't either, because, you know, sometimes we get rain during the day here, and it'll just like randomly rain for a little bit. So, I meet a cute cat in the hat short for Sebastian. I did not see him. I know, Town Chat, like, the more places that people send me information, the worse I am at being able to check it. I'm not even kidding you. So, like, if I have to check 7 million different places, good luck. I mean, you know, because it's just so hard. There's not enough hours in the day, right? And I've been really trying to mod for people and go over and support other channels and kind of network. So with that, it's so hard. It's really, really difficult. So I will look, because again, I got another show. I'll be doing another show tonight. I have to pull out some of that stuff and transform it a little bit more in order for me to show it. But it pertains to Web Sleuths and what we were talking about last night. So I figured it would be better even to keep it at the night show. Hey, SI officer, good to see you. But I will definitely look. But yeah, and I finally got Mima's email, and I was so excited for that. I'm the door greeter at Walmart Town Chat. That's hilarious. That is so funny. Mark says CP is 5 foot nothing and and man boobs, no big deal. He said he wore size 14. Remember that? I was like, there's no way in hell that you wear size 14, boy. I know it. Oh, that's so funny. Dragon Tribe Mart. There you go. Town Chat, we're the Nordstroms over here of tribes, right? I used to shop at Kohl's. All right, Leslie keeping it real says put your bra on. Put your bra on, Edgar. Oh Lord. Oh, you definitely see the boobs, and some of them, especially what was it? The polo shirt was a good man boob shot. See, that's what I'm talking about. I'm disappointed actually, but whatever. I stopped watching her. Yeah, I mean, I don't think she's gone live event a little bit either, like to look or anything like that. Did you, Mark? Yeah, so you're familiar. Yeah, you're familiar with what I'm talking about. Hey, Canadian True Crime 2024, good to see you. Yeah, that's true. I always forget to account for that, Lisa B. Always. So like a men's size 10 is like a woman's size 12, right? Like it's like like when you go to the roller skating rink and stuff, that's what it reminds me of, because like you'd always have to get a size under if you're a lady, right? Because like obviously they're all guys sizes. Same thing at the bowling alley. So yeah. See, Leslie's got the tiny feet. Aw, those are so cute. Like, oh my gosh, no, I do not have tiny feet. Leslie, even though I'm not tall, I'm 5'6". I'm average. I'm a women's 8 or 8.5, men's 6 and 6.5. Yeah, there you go, Lisa. Yeah, and like that's how we know, right? Because we've gone to, different places, and we've had to account for that, because they always do that at the roller rink or the bowling alley. I don't know how many's been to the roller rink in a long time. It's been a long time for me. I think I went ice skating last is what I did. Operators in Tennessee against Chicago is ridiculous. Yeah, well, and I mean, I wonder what your thoughts are, Mark, on him traveling for work too. Like, was that sort of, in your opinion, like a necessity for him to do this, or was it something that maybe like he's seeking out jobs that are far? Because I mean, sometimes you just can't find jobs in the area, right? Or they're not as high paying if you were to, travel for work and stuff like that. I know. Well, that's the thing. But then I'm checking the I'm so bad on Facebook, guys. I'm bad on Facebook. You got a view on the video? You did, SI officer? That's another thing I need to be more better about. You know that TikTok. And it's like, yeah, TikTok, Lady Freedom, because you need to get your butt on there. Anne says she wears a size 8 in men's shoes, but 10.5 in ladies' shoes. Well, and see, it's kind of different too. Like boots are different. No way he wears a size 14. Husband 6'8", wears between a 14 and a 15. LOLCP. Talk about a fibber. Like the story of the fish. LOL. It was this big. Yeah, exactly. Town Chat. Good one. Exactly. And that. Yeah. Well, and Nate wears a size 12, and they're big old honkers. Like you can't. Like Nice try. Oh boy. You know what the shoe size means. Okay, here comes my joke. You have to tell every time we talk about his feet. Oh, Show Poodles. Show Poodles says, I miss roller skating. That was my thing. Yes, I love roller skating too. Like even the roller blades are fun too, but roller skates. Do you know what they say about me? Oh, men with little feet and little hands. Do you know what they say about men with little feet and little hands? Little shoes and little mittens. I mean, I'm not trying. I'm not trying to say that just because. All right, I'll stop. Mark says his job travels were worth it. Most do it. Yeah, most do it. Okay, yeah, because I thought that too. Like, that wasn't weird to me. Everyone's like, how does he live in a travel trailer? I'm like, because it is more money. And two, sometimes you get like a stipend, right? Like you get a per diem, you get you get extras, and it is worth it. And especially like I would rather stay in a camper than a hotel any day, right? I mean, yeah, the hotels, whatever, they have a pool, sometimes they have spas, they got all this, but so do campsites, and it's cheaper and you have more privacy. You don't have somebody knocking on your door, whatever. I mean, housekeeping is nice if you're not a tidy person, that could be worth it right there, having somebody clean up, especially if you're a bachelor kind of a guy, I can see that being all right. I know some of them have to room with each other though. Veronica says, I'm going to go and watch your last nights so I can get caught up. Okay, Veronica, yeah, we're just kind of going to go over Deception Detective today because I was watching and really great commentary on some of what we haven't talked about in a little while, which was when Chris got up on panel with Elevated Truth. And, I mean, here's the thing. Katie won't talk to anyone. It's like in my thumbnail, she's not going to talk to you if you're not a Karama channel. She's not interested, right? Because she knows that the true crime people want to find Sebastian, in my opinion. So she'll go to the Karama people because, yeah, they don't care about shooting the shit or asking the same stupid questions like, Chris, do you own a private yacht? I never thought he owned a private yacht. All right, guys, you never heard me. Go back through my old videos, please. I was new. But in the same way, like, I've never, ever thought that they had a private yacht. I didn't think that they were, like, that rich, honestly. I mean, they have a $600,000 house. Guys, I've sold bigger houses than that. I've done open houses at bigger houses than that, right? I mean, you're talking $1 million houses. And that's in Missouri. Okay. Yeah. I never thought they had a private yacht. That in my opinion was something that Chris kind of made up and embellished, in order to probably, kind of like the shoe size, right? Overcompensating for little stuff. This is exactly why he exaggerates on the size. Right, SA officer. And all the guys, I'm sure, were like, oh yeah, and all the ladies that were like, well, my husband wears this size, or my boyfriend wears this size, or your brother, or your whatever. Your dad, you're like, Please, what other job could he do? Heavy equipment operators are blessed. Mark. He says I was. I know what you mean, though. Like, it seems like there's different levels of, because, you're humping lumber all day long. That's a little different, right? Than if you're just sitting in the crane, One earbud in here, the other one talking to, whoever. Magnifying glasses and tweezers. Oh, my goodness. Oh, behave. Oh, behave, baby. Oh, my goodness. Don't get me started on Austin Powers. I love the Austin Powers movies. oh, I work for a company, don't have to worry about jobs. Yeah, and see, that's good. Like, yeah, that's another thing. It is stressful. That's why I asked, because, you know, sometimes people like legitimately can't find a job in the area, so it's tough, right? It's like you do have to travel and, you know, start hitting up like the job boards and being like, okay, even if this job is like Chris was, is an example, 3 hours away, it's still not that far from home, and you get the per diem. Like, yes, Bear Honey, good to see you, Bear Honey. The per diem rate is crazy high, depending on if you get it for lodging and meals, incidentals. Yes, one or the other. Right, exactly. Yeah, and they do pay well. I mean, because they understand people are traveling. But yeah, meals taken care of, that's huge, right? And of course, if you have to throw in a little bit of your own money, you could always go get a nice dinner for, you know, and pay what, like 30% of it? That's pretty good. Um, I'd definitely be eating out nice if I had that. Or, you know, you could save it too. A lot of the places too, like hotels and stuff, or if you have your RV, you can, you know, have a fridge full of food and you don't even have to worry about eating out, but then you could still keep your, you know, per diem. So, I mean, I think that's the smart route. Like, I always thought that that was actually smart of Chris to do it like that. Because people are like, how are you living in that camper? It's like, well, I mean, I'd rather do it like that. You save a lot of money. Listen, I can't stay today. I'm sorry. Enjoyed your live yesterday. Oh, SA officer, I'm glad you stopped in. Yes, yes, I'm so glad. Thank you, thank you. You have a great rest of your day. You do that. Thank you, and thank you for stopping in. I appreciate you guys. I know it's hard to stay and talk like all day. It is, and there's so much stuff going on all the time. This week is seeming milder. I don't know, maybe knock on wood, but it seems like it's a little milder that we've been dealing with. It's all Mama Sox's money. GA64, yeah, she has the money, the connections as well, I think is a big one, right? Because Chris kind of seems like the one that gets in trouble, and she's got to find, you know, she's just got to find a way out of it for him. Like, even with his wives and things like that, like, oh, you know, they're in a you know, marital issues, they're in a pickle or whatever. And then, you know, it's automatically her fault, you know. My pick is a 62-year-old dude, heavy equipment. Me either. And mama probably paid for it. Yeah. Oh yeah. And that's the thing. And she's got him out of trouble, you know, a lot. I know, I'm over here laughing, Veronica. Oh, I was listening to the replay from yesterday and heard that I think it was said that Aunt Melissa husband works for a company that builds secret rooms. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, that was said. And I've heard that before. And I do believe that, you know. Hey, Lady Freedom, I just got something about PayPal not paying. It's on Google. PayPal? I don't have a PayPal. What do you mean not paying, Ann Reynolds? Did you, no, I didn't hear about that. My bosses says take their, the offer contract, where you can never make this much money. They were correct. Yeah, well, and I mean, it's like, you just kind of got to go where the good money is, especially, I mean, gosh, it's, you know, I say $600,000 house, but I mean, it is, it's mortgage, it's lights, it's, you know, all of that. And then also, but I think they had good insurance. That's one thing that is nice. The benefits are there. So the insurance, but I was thinking also if Sebastian had been to the doctor lately, well, and that's true. Michelle says, but what job is going to let their employee be on YouTube while running heavy equipment like a crane? OSHA would have a fit for sure. I mean, I would think so, too. I would think they would not allow for that or want that to be going down. Yeah, that is so true. If that's true, OMG, wow. That would be easy for them to hide Sebastian right under our noses. He could be right there in Sumner County, in my opinion, allegedly. Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, it would be a way to hide him. Absolutely. I mean, you know, to where he could still be alive. Like somebody's bringing him things if the police aren't watching over, which it doesn't seem like they did. I mean, they were still like operating under the assumption that Sebastian walked off, himself. Yeah, Sasha, that's what they were saying yesterday. We were talking about that in the chat. 2025 federal rates for lodging is $110 per day, meals $68, and you could get a total of stipend of $178 per day to pay for housing and meals. See, I'd be fine. Wow. I mean, obviously, maybe you'll eat more because you're out there working in it, but wow. Sort of, kind of, Veronica. It's like more like the bunkers, I know. See what I mean about the tinfoil hat? See what I mean? And I mean, look, guys, I've watched, and I've talked to you guys about that too. Like, I've watched the survival shows and, what do they call them? Preppers. I've watched preppers and stuff like that, and they have like those underground bunkers and stuff. I mean, they're pretty elaborate. Mark says most union heavy equipment operators know somebody to get them in. Yeah, good point. That is a very good point. Yeah. It tells them about the job opening, something like that. Yeah. OSHA works 8 to 5 unless there's an emergency, so he could get away with it. Oh, definitely. Yeah, and they're not on the job every day, right? They kind of come out like for trainings and then, just to check up if they get a complaint or something. Yeah. Believe me, we don't know, we don't follow a lot of rules. We just get it done. Sure. And I mean, that's the thing. Like, I completely understand that, it's like a lot of jobs, it's like an office job for me. It's like, were we supposed to be like, sending emails back and forth, like, those email chains back in the day, even I remember that, like, I would make friends with like the other people that I was sending emails to, and then we would send each other funny emails, but like we probably weren't supposed to be doing that, probably ended up getting the IT guy called out a couple of times because I clicked the link I wasn't supposed to or something. But the article says PayPal payment distribution due to security system failure. PayPal glitch leads to banks blocking billions in direct debits. Ooh. Wow, that's interesting, Miss Ann. No, I did not hear about that. I don't do PayPal, though. I mean, I have a PayPal account, but that's just because I bought stuff, I think, on eBay or something. Yeah. See, Perfectly Imperfect Boy Mom says I've been saying that. Mark, I promise you guys at St. Jude still have phones. No, yeah. Oh, no biggie, in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, yeah, because it's extremely hard not to have a phone while you're working. I mean, especially if you have a family and stuff. I think people understand that, most of the supervisors are drinking friends. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Well, and that guy that they interviewed, he was a trip. Like, I know rough guys and how they talk, but they usually know to kind of curb it, like in front of certain people. But I thought that was weird a little bit that he didn't, curb it. Lisa says, in my opinion, nobody has searched the Bowersox home. # Terry Bowersox was not seen Monday, February 26th, allegedly. Wow. Yeah. I mean, they didn't do much of anything, in my opinion. Not the way that you would expect, right? If they were truly investigating, you would think that they would be putting together at least a case of who didn't do it, right? Like, okay, check mark this person off. They're not involved. They're not involved. They haven't done that. They haven't cleared anybody, right? They just kind of leave it. They're leaving it be how it is. It's very weird, I would think that after all of this stuff being out, that OSHA has not shown up. Well, I would think that they would have came out there and checked, but he moved around too. He wasn't, supposedly he was let go from that job, then he wasn't, that's another thing that's really up in the air. The Bowersox property needs looking at, in my opinion. I'm surprised it's not been looked at early on. Yeah, the one thing that I was most concerned with was that Mama was a realtor, and then she had, access to all of these houses, right? Like, I mean, there was a time where I was just doing rentals, and the rental properties I had, there was at least 30 to 40 of them at any given time. I mean, one would go off, you know, we'd rent one, then one would come on, right? We had like people working all the time, maintenance, you know, people ending their leases, people starting leases, right? So it was just all the time, right? At any given time, you would have access to whatever. And I mean, you know, it was up to me whether I showed which property, right? I mean, yeah, people would ask me about it, but if I was, say, doing something nefarious at that property that day, I would have had time to do it. I would have said, oh no, we can't show that one today because there's a maintenance guy over there, right? Something like that. I mean, I'm just thinking outside of the box and thinking about how it would be if I was to try to pull something off. And, you know, it did bother me a lot with that. It really did. Mark Klein says, my experience, Perfect Boy Mom says to Mark Klein, my experience is that they've become like a second family being on the road, someone to vent to and build bonds. Yeah, well, absolutely. And, you know, when you're on the road, Perfect Boy Mom, that's true. And, you know, people, when they get off of a hard day of work, I don't care who you are, you know, it's nice to go. And I mean, unless you're not like a drinker, but, you know, too, it's nice to go and like have a beer and go talk, eat some dinner, right? Or a glass of wine, whatever you're, you know, pick your poison. And it's nice. And it does build camaraderie, right? Or just say like you're a bunch of people staying at the same campgrounds, right? And so on a Sunday, if you're not going home, everybody gets together for a barbecue and, you know, has a couple beers or whatever. So absolutely. I can definitely see that. Because they'd be dirty, right? Veronica, I feel that, you know. Hey, Peggy, good to see you. Hey, Nano, good to see you. Also, C says, a fundraising on behalf of Katie Proudfoot. LOL, right? Oh, no. Well, I mean, I would support Katie if she got out there. I would. I have no choice, right? Because she's trying to support Sebastian. You know, it wouldn't stop me from side-eyeing at this point. Now, in the beginning, it would have been different. You know, if she had got out there and at least tried. Like, and Deception Detective, he mentions a couple of them, but one that really sticks out in my mind is Kyron Horman's mom, right? Like, she does car wash events, and, you know, she's just always like, I want to find my son. She does public speaking events, you know, and I see those actions coming out with what Seth is doing in his actions. So it does throw me off a bit. And I think it's difficult. Not everybody's like going to go through a tragic event and be like, oh, I'm going to go out and be a public speaker, right? Because public speaking is hard as it is. It's definitely hard. It's hard to get up in front of a huge group of people. Like, you know, I might be nervous because I'm used to just being a camera and, you know, all of you guys in chat. For me to get up and speak publicly is different, right? You have all of those people, you have them looking at you, you have, maybe you can hear some of the comments that they're making that aren't so nice, whatever it is. When the news media is in your face and you have cameras snapping everywhere, it's different. So I will say that much. But again, the drive and the determination to find out what happened to your son who's missing, your daughter who's missing, whoever, I would think, you know, it would trump, you know, you would use that trump card there. And it would just be like, I have no choice. I have to get up here. I have to advocate for my child. Because I know there was mixed reviews on, you know, Seth going out there. And I just think I'd be doing the same thing. You know, you have to try everything. Yeah. I agree with you, Mark. CP should know these different levels of Tennessee is not on the board. Yeah. And, you know, I mean, Chris always acts like he knows everything. So I'm surprised that he doesn't know, you know? Yeah. And I think they probably have stricter rules. Yeah, Mark, I agree with that. Chicago being on the ball, Tennessee, not so much. Yeah, well, and if they're looking the other direction. And two, everybody said that, you know, Chris's demeanor was, I mean, and when you hear from other construction workers that another guy's demeanor is bad, like that's pretty bad in my opinion. You know, usually they're like, he's not so bad, you know, he's rough like me, you know. Well, like some of them were getting like an even more rough vibe off of that, you know, because at least they're tender enough or soft enough to be like, hey, I have a wife and a kid, and or a step kid, or you know, something. It's weird. My girlfriend, you guys call us old ladies too, I know that. That's the sign of Sebastian I'm in love with. The colors, the star flag. It's like Sebastian's a superhero. They need t-shirts like that. Oh, IML, isn't that sweet? I mean, those are the things that Seth is putting money towards, you know, in order to do this. I mean, you know, it's not cheap. And especially when you want to do tributes to people, like it's expensive. I don't know. I just hope he's feeling better. I know he was caught out in that heat and it was bad. So I'm hoping he feels better. Nano says, Tennessee has changed so very much in my opinion. Yeah. And I mean, I think it exists everywhere. You know, I think it's just kind of with this story, it just seems like Chris and Katie have really been able to find protection in people, and I don't understand it because most people that see this are kind of, you know, really taken back by the Proud Feet. But then you have these people that are really staunch supporters of them, which in my opinion is bizarre in and of itself. Town Check Cafe says, one thing I thought of, in my opinion, maybe they don't want flyers at the Pig Fest because kids tell the truth, and if they see a flyer, one of them will blurt out where he's at. Oh, that's interesting. I mean, I think it would put pressure on people, you know, to do something. I mean, it's just like, you know, if your water faucet's just dripping, you know, into a bucket that you're filling up, it's going to take forever for it to fill. But, you know, if you turn it on and apply more pressure, you fill it up faster and you got a full bucket. I mean, you know, that's the way I look at it. Pressure is good. Hey, Detroit, good to see you. You know, pressure's good. They need to feel the pressure. They've been coddled far too long. And we listened to Trisha on Web Sleuths last night. And, you know, I mean, I don't like to talk bad about people. I just didn't like the coddling that, you know, it's just terrible. It's just, it's just terrible. I was laughing at the comments, not what I said. Nano says, I was going to move to Tennessee at one time. Thank God I changed my mind. I went there every year. Not anymore. All I've seen are demons, in my honest opinion. Well, I mean, you know, it's so pretty there. Like, it is so beautiful in Tennessee. I got to drive through there last year around this time. Well, it was October. It was November. But the leaves were all changing. I mean, it was really pretty. Really, really pretty. And it is a shame. It's a shame. And I don't know if, like, hey, Mimi Ma, good to see you. Oh, I did. Oh, okay. Yes, I did. Did you send it to my email? Because I did get your emails, Mimi Ma. Did you get the info on the Knoxville, Tennessee mayor? I've been looking into a lot of the corruption too, though, because Nano, you know, like with the Walking Tall guy, right? And I'm trying to think of his name. Buford Pusser is like local legend turned murderer of his wife by the TBI. And I'm still kind of trying to deep dive into it. But there's a 1,000-page document that just came out by the TBI talking about how he wasn't the one that was standing up for corruption. Like, he was the corruption, and he also killed his wife. And so that case has really got my head spinning too. Oh, the wrestler. Yes, Mimi Ma. I did get that. Thank you. It's very corrupt there. Yeah, Nano. And I mean, it's unfortunate because I don't think a lot of the people like it a lot, Chrissy. I don't think a lot of people like it. I think a lot of people are against it, but it's like they're afraid to say something, you know, which is unfortunate. Jed Jarrett as well. That's going to be there at the Pig Fest. Yes, Mimi Ma. Yeah. they're doing like a whole wrestling night, right? It's like a whole, and we went over it. It was kind of boring, guys. I just clicked through the Pigfest information. That live wasn't the best. I mean, it was just kind of like me showing you stuff up here. But nevertheless, we kind of went through, like, there's a steak dinner on Friday night, right? Where I think that would be the best place to spread awareness, would be at that steak dinner on Friday night. Oh yes. Rub elbows with the guys that are willing to spend the hundo for the steak, right? Why wouldn't you? Those are the ones we need to be talking to. So I don't know, but there is a free day too. There's also a free day. There's concerts, silent auctions, paint the parking lot initiative. I don't really understand that fully, besides that you get to like paint the parking spot, right? So Mark says I'm not perfect but close. Unfreaking believable. I know. Well, and that's, I mean, it is, and it's like just how it went down at the police station. I was really disappointed. I was, Nano, because I thought they were going to come out and at least say hey to Seth, or, you know, offer him a bottle of water. Like, what? This is like, I don't know, a bottle of water. Give the guy a bottle of water. I don't know. I would have, if I was the office girls, I'd have baked him some cookies and snuck them to him or something. Then again, you know, the poor guy's got to think somebody's trying to poison you. You know, I mean, I would think that way. I don't know if he thinks that way. I might think that way. You know, maybe I'd have to go buy, you know, something sealed from the store. I mean, it's terrible. It is terrible. Oh, which one, Veronica? I figured we would just watch the first day, then put on Sebastian stuff for the second day. Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, if they're on the committee, they should really be worrying about how they're. Yes, Oak Ridge Boys. Thank you, Lisa. Be always Oak Ridge Boy. Friday, allegedly, is the Oak Ridge Boys concert. Yeah. Nano says, I'm so upset, pissed because of how they've treated the Sebastian Rogers case. Yeah, me too. I don't see how they could treat him like that. I don't. Like, you know, it doesn't matter. Yeah, just shake his hands and say, I'm sorry, I understand. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, maybe they were letting him vent. You know, I could go maybes and say, okay, but then I feel like I'm making up excuses too, and my title is excuses today. Yeah, that is evil. It's evil actions, Nano. It is. It's like, because people don't act like that to each other. I mean, I don't even like to see people I don't like hurting. It's weird. I mean, so there's got to be so much disdain. Like, that's what I think. There's got to be such opposition there. I can feel it. Cece says the TBI claims that they solved the Buford Pusser case, but can't find a missing child out. Well, yeah, and they reopened that case 3 years ago from 1967. Buford Pusser's been, you know, gone 50 years. The motivation is strange. They said they got new information. Now, I think her brother was really pushing for it, right? And I mean, Pauline's beautiful. She was a beautiful woman, you know. Oh, that Buford guy. Yes, Veronica. Yeah. It's a big story. They just broke it. You know, but the thing about Tennessee that bothers me is they keep everything like so hush-hush in Tennessee, right? It's almost like they want to be completely separate from the rest of the United States. They want to keep everything so quiet. That bothers me. If you have 1,000 pages of proof against Buford Pusser, why can't you let it all out? How come we can't be discussing that right now? I mean, I would take out time to do that. I'm interested. Deep level of corruption. That's why we have silence, hush, hush, right? So, and Diane, I also, you know, we were talking about it too, where they were painting the sidewalk, right? And I haven't had a chance to pull those pictures in yet, but they were painting the sidewalk in order to make it a loading zone. It wasn't that way. But then when Seth was out there, they, you know, move across the street, you know, and I know that was you know, something. I didn't show it right away, but it's been bugging me. It really has been. Thanks, Lisa B. Always. Yeah, Oak Ridge Boys Incorporated, 242 West Main Street, number 256 in Hendersonville, Tennessee. And there's a phone number. You could also email. Thank you, Lisa B. Always. I mean, we need to spread awareness about Sebastian. Yeah, the leg was found, but I didn't hear anything else about the leg. I haven't heard anything else. They find body parts all over Tennessee, guys. All over the place. It's really creepy. Nano says, just my opinion, but I've noticed a lot of people that's changed. Yeah, and I mean, I don't understand if it's out of being frightened or if it's because they've always been like that and I didn't see it. I know, and it could be a multitude of things, really. I mean, it really could. 9 missing kids this year, 9 found, not Sebastian or Summer. Oh my gosh. There's just something to it. There's something to that. That's a bitch move with that loading zone. I know, Mimi Ma. Who does that? Who does that? You know? William Lee Golden of the Oak Ridge Boys lives in Hendersonville. Wow. Wow. Thanks, Diane. I'm surprised too. I'm surprised nobody made him or her talk or her. I mean, really, you know, and I've been playing a little bit of that, you know, let's just go by Katie's story. Let's say that Chris wasn't there because I know a lot of people have said he's there. You know, we have speculation. We're about to speculate on it. But even so, that still leaves Katie, right? That's still a person of interest. That should be their person of interest. When you don't have any other proof that Sebastian walked out on his own, right? Don't have any proof that Sebastian left the house. Jeff, Jared, and Glenn Jacobs, it takes a few minutes. Share his flyer, just a please. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Mimi Ma. I'll get that posted too. Oh, I wanted to, before I forget, and I didn't load it in yesterday, but this is our friend, Jenny Machete. So her dad had passed away, guys, and they have a goal. And it's only $2,000. I mean, I know $2,000 is a lot of money, but it's not terribly high. If you guys want to donate, please do. I'll put the link in the description. I just got to pull it out of my email. Hey, Faye, good afternoon. Good to see you. I almost said good morning. But yeah, so it's going to be 31 days until the service, right? September 30th, 2025. My heart goes out to our friend Jenny, guys. She's a sweetheart. Love Jenny Machete. So if you can help, and her dad's just adorable. You know, those things happen unexpectedly. So I just wanted to kind of put that out there, and then I will drop Jenny's link as well for her GoFundMe campaign. And that's for her dad, guys. He's just adorable, and may he rest in peace. And Jenny, my heart is with you. I know how hard it is to lose parents. It's sad. It's hard. It's nothing that we would ever, you know, expect to happen. Let's see here. Let me pull that in while I do this. And yeah, we're going to go over, I'm also going to pull in our deception detective guy here. But I want to grab this too. It just takes me forever because I posted a lot. Also, there is a little girl, and I'll share this out too. She's lying in intensive care unit hospital bed, right? 11-year-old Genevieve Bisick, sorry if I said that wrong. A lot of people are sending her homemade cards and things. She's one of the little girls who was injured in the Minneapolis church shooting. So I did share that out. Another really interesting story I shared to my community wall is the cheerleader mastermind orchestrated boyfriends unaliving, right? Teens unaliving teens. The young lady that was friends with him, really, really wanted people to know about it, right? So we'll probably talk about that too at some point, because I know she wants to raise awareness about what happened. Guys, there was like 6 or 7 of these kiddos involved in this. I don't even know. Another really important post I will share too is Brandy Vaughn has received a liver transplant. She is recovering and recuperating in the hospital. So very good news, and I'm so happy to hear that. I know that she was flown out, but she has successfully come through the surgery. So Brandy, we love you here. I'm so glad to hear that, and I hope that you have a speedy recovery, and I hope that you get some justice for Michael Monkey Vaughn, your sweet boy. I'm happy to hear that, and I also reposted that from Justin too, guys. Just got kind of going over current events and things like that. Now I know. Oh no, those are. Oh yeah, here we go. Here's the link. Here's the link for Jenny. Okay, guys, and again, this is Jenny Machete, our friend. If you feel so compelled, or if you can, send a couple bucks just to help out. Every little bit helps. Oh, goody. It wasn't the long link that I posted before. Okay. So I just wanted to post that out, guys, because I saw Jenny in another chat and I heard that and I wanted to help out. Let me share this screen with you guys really quick. I want to show you here. Okay. All right, there we go. Oh, missing Colorado, guys. Mia in Colorado. She is missing. If you guys see her, please share to locate this. If you have a channel, missing child, 13-year-old Mia was last seen around midnight on 8/1/25, right? Near Kirkwood Drive in Fort Collins, Colorado. Mia is described as approximately 5 foot tall, 120 pounds, with brown eyes and brown hair. She was last seen wearing a long sleeve black shirt and black pants. Anyone with information on her whereabouts is urged to contact Fort Collins Police, and that is 970-221-6540, right? 911. Also, you can scan the link. So please be aware that she's out there. And thank you to Bob for always posting these kids. I always like to go and post what Bob posts because he has all the missing flyers. So I share that. This is the good news, guys. I wanted to share about Brandy. So here's Brandy's beautiful face, and there's Monkey. They look so much alike, guys. Just so much alike. Same color eyes, everything. So this is from Clutch Them Pearls, right? Our friend Justin. He says, community update on Brandy Neal Vaughn. Pearls, I want to take a moment to share some good news in the midst of heavy times. Brandy Neal Vaughn, the mother of missing Michael Vaughn, from Fruitland, Idaho, has made it through surgery, and so far her liver transplant has been a success. She is recovering well, but the road ahead is long. Please continue to lift Brandy and her family up in your prayers. Let's pray for complete healing, for her strength to be renewed each day, and for God's protection and peace to surround her. Amen, Justin. Well said. Thank you so much. Drop a heart or pray your hands in the comments to let the Vaughn family know that we're not walking this, that they are not walking this journey alone. Excuse me. We believe in the power of prayer, and together we can keep hope alive. Amen. And I agree with that. Brandy has like the sweetest face, right? And then look at little Monkey. He's so adorable. I wish I could get them both in there. I just wish nothing but good things for them. And here's a little girl who is 11 years old, Genevieve, right? She is in the hospital recovering from the school shooting in Minneapolis. So never alone, Mimima. Thank you guys for the blue hearts. Thank you. So just, keeping people in our prayers, guys. This young lady, I feel so bad. Okay, so let's go on to Deception Detective.
Chris is lying. That was my.
And guys, he smiles really big in this one. I'm so happy to see it. I knew he had a nice smile. Okay, but he's always very serious, right? He's always super serious, our deception detective. But we still love watching his commentary. Thank you guys. You guys are awesome. Thank you, Veronica. Yeah, it was Live Love Nashville. Perfectly Imperfect Boy Mom, Live Love Nashville, which is one of the sponsors of PigFest. Which I was like, whoa, you know. I want him to take off his hat. We're like demanding things of her. We need you to smile and take off that hat, you know. Nano. Goodness sakes. People are flipping crazy. Veronica. Oh, I am so happy for Brandy too. Leslie keeping it real. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I mean, just what a strong woman. She's one of the strongest people I've ever heard of, honestly. Everything that she's, you know, done. Oh, thank you, GA64. Thank you for keeping Sebastian in the limelight. I've been disappointed in some of the creators that I used to watch, and they have moved on for whatever reason. They have moved on. Don't let them win. You know, that's the hardest thing for me, and I'm very I'm very stubborn when I get frustrated with something, and it has sparked, you know, me to want to keep going. I mean, I think that it is about letting them win, because the minute that everybody wasn't talking about Sebastian for every live, they were like, oh, no one's talking about him. You know, I know what you're saying, Mima. It just fuels the fire for me. And there's so much to talk about. There's so many that we haven't gone, you know, over. So, yeah. But yeah, guys, I think Deception Detective did a fantastic job on this, and I thought, okay, let's pull this in and talk about it, because, like, again, their words are very important, you know, the time frame, the timeline, considering everything, knowing what we know now and looking back on it too, I think is very valuable. So here we go. This is Deception Detective, guys. Without further ado, he is one of the smart guys. I love his commentary.
Chris is lying. That was my first thought when I heard this, so I reached out to Dog the Bounty Hunter on X to confirm my suspicions. And guess what? Dog and his team had contacted him. Live interviews are the gold standard for spotting lies. Let's hear Chris Proudfoot discuss his missing stepson, Sebastian Rogers, on a true crime podcast to see if he slips up.
I think it's a good thing sometimes just open your ears and hear what people are saying. You know, for me personally, my biggest hang up, and Chris, we've talked about this as well, is that Katie has been so quiet. Now, there's two reasons why I can understand Katie being quiet. One, every time y'all come out and talk, it's ripped apart. I get that. And two, she may not be very good or do very well at public speaking, okay? But I think that the issue that people have is that they haven't been able to humanize Katie, because Katie has been so far away from the situation. And I think that people in general, in order to humanize somebody, they have to feel like they know the person. Does that make sense? Even if we don't know them at all, we have to feel like we can understand them or relate to them. And the fact that Katie has been so quiet, it puts a lot of people off. Now, Katie has the right to be quiet, you know, but on the same note, if Katie has the right to be quiet, then people have the right to question the quietness.
This is my third video analyzing this interview. If you missed parts 1 and 2, don't worry, I'll link them at the end. For now, here's what you really need to know. At the time of this live stream, Sebastian had been missing for 10 months. His mom, Katie Proudfoot, was the last person to see him alive and only did a handful of interviews before going radio silent. So when Elevated Truth says that she has the right to be silent and we have the right to question that, he's exactly correct. For the biological mother of a missing child to stop doing press is unusual. Besides Elevated Truth, there are 4 other true crime tubers on this panel, as well as Chris Proudfoot. Chris is Sebastian's stepdad, and he was apparently out of town when Sebastian went missing. That will be important for later. With all that in mind, let's keep listening.
It's kind of a 50-50. So unfortunately, you know, for you, you come out and talk. You don't have a problem doing that. It is what it is, right? And you speak for Katie a lot of the times, as I would expect you to do because you're her husband, right? That's what we do in the South. My question is there going to be a time that Katie is going to not speak to you two? Because like I've said to you before, I think that's pointless, right? But to go out and speak directly to Sebastian, or respectfully, is the reason that that's not happening because you're worried about whether he would be able to hear it or not? Like, is there a reason that she hasn't directly addressed him?
She has, in some interviews, directly addressed him, especially when people ask the question if Sebastian could hear you right now or he's watching this. Katie has addressed Sebastian directly.
On your screen now is my missing child presser checklist. These are 7 things that parents
Hop on here really quick and just, you know, say that I understand that there's different ways that people handle things, like according to the, you know, the demographic where, you know, where you come from. There may be places where, you know, it's still proper for a husband to speak for their wife. In my opinion, you know, if it's a wife, I'll go speak to her woman to woman, right? That's my way of thinking. I don't know how it works. Typically, you know, the most south I've been is here in Florida, you know, demographically speaking, you know, or excuse me, geographically speaking, rather. So, I mean, you know, I can't speak for that. I can't speak for what it's like to be a man with their wife. I can't, right? So I kind of have to almost kind of take Elevated Goof's word for it. And I'm sorry, guys, I know this is going to be a rough one. I call him Elevated Goof, just my way of kind of taking power back from a bully. But in the same way, in my opinion, the way that I look at things is, you know, I can speak for myself. I'm, you know, I was raised to be a strong woman. Now, arguably, maybe Katie was meek, you know, due to the way that she was raised or the way that, you know, she was treated. And, you know, that can cause that to happen, right? So I'm going to put that out there, not saying either way whether it is or it isn't, but, you know, just putting it out there. But her becoming, again, a trained military personnel, right, in the Navy. She was high ranking, you know, and she can definitely speak for herself. This interview is very important, Sasha, in my opinion, too. Absolutely. You know, and I'm glad to have the expertise here because, you know, with this, even just looking at what Deception Detective has written out here, right? DD's missing child presser / interview checklist. We have number 1, right? The present tense. We look for and listen for if people are still speaking of their child as if they're still with us, right? Or not. Plenty of examples of this and plenty of other interviews. Katie and Chris are very careful, in my opinion. In the year anniversary, Katie slipped up. Absolutely slipped up. Even had an oh shit moment right there on camera, right? Sebastian would have. No, it should have been Sebastian turned 16. If she, you know, and Faye, I think it's a good idea. I have never went over Peter Hyatt's interview, and I think we should. I think that's a great idea. So thank you for that recommendation, because we haven't gone over that, and I think it's a good idea to do that. So thank you. Hey, KJ Max says she has not directly addressed him. She did it in third person. It was always weird and forced. I agree. When they ask her, she does. Well, and cooperative, you know, the second one here, cooperative, people could say, you know, Katie has cooperated and she hasn't. But, you know, Katie has always been very, I'll just say, forced. like KJ Mack was saying, very weird and forced. Like she had to get up there, right? If she didn't, people were going to side eye her and things like that. Mimi Ma says, but no man would shut me up if it was my kid. Right. Well, and that's it too. And if you were the last one there, it's like you have to talk, right? Like if Chris was there as well, I could understand. Right. But here we're getting into, you know, are they lying about him being there or not? That's the really difficult part here. And, you know, I mean, if he wasn't there, then he has no room to talk. I don't want to hear from him at all. As a matter of fact, it's just static and noise, right? It's just confusing the situation, muddying the waters. And, you know, Katie was the one that we want to hear from. Only when asked to do so. Susan Kemp agrees with Faye. I agree, Susan Kemp. Good to see you. I'm in the South and Mama runs it. Sasha, right? I mean, come on. And isn't there a level of respect too for women like in the South? That's what I was thinking as well, Sasha. Thank you for that. Right? It's kind of like in My Big Fat Greek Wedding, where the mother tells, you know, the daughter, look, your father might be the head of the house, but I'm the neck, right? And the neck can turn the head which way it wants, any way it wants. And I probably misquoted, but I'm just saying. That's usually how it is. We let the men think that they wear the pants. Sorry, Mark Klein, and sorry, Seth, if you're in here, or any of our other guys. Love you guys. But I mean, you know, you kind of, that's part of letting them be a man too. But then also knowing that we're smart, you know, and we were capable, you know, empowering ourselves, like to not just sit there and be poor little old me. Oh, woe is me. What do I do? No, we take action, right? We're liberated women. You know, I wasn't around for it, but our bras were burned long ago. KJ Mack, oh wait, she did directly address him. You're not in trouble. Yeah, well, she also said to him, I was listening earlier too. She said, we weren't even in a fight. If we were fighting, I could see, you know, him just running off, but we weren't even fighting. And then Chris pipes in, he's like, oh, well, and he wasn't even in trouble either, you know? Nano says, same, me or my grandkids, you know? Exactly, it says to me, Mima, I agree. It's like when the kids are out there, the kids are who's important, right? Because they're little, they can't take care of themselves. They didn't ask to be here, all of that. We love them dearly, you know? I mean, they're a gift. And we don't, I mean, when they're out there missing, it doesn't even matter. And it doesn't matter whether they're, you know, 18, 19 years old. Look, I just had a grandma reach out to me and her granddaughter was missing and she had run away before, right? We just, you know, but she had a bad feeling and she's like, I really want to know where she is. And that's, you know, what we did. We pleaded for her here. Please call your family. They love you, you know, things like that. If I thought Sebastian was out there and could hear that, I would do the same thing, you know, but it's looking less and less like that. And even when Katie pleads for him out there, she says things like, you're not in trouble. That's very concerning. You know, hey, Valley Gal, good to see you. Nanny, no doubt, grandkids before all. Yeah, and they're just little people, you know, and especially when they have a rare chromosome deletion and autism, that adds to the struggle that they may encounter in getting home safely on their own. Inconclusive, you know, number 3, and I'll let him go through these, addresses the kidnapper, right? Katie's never done that. She's put out there that maybe somebody took him, but she's never addressed the kidnapper, in my opinion. They ask for help. Katie doesn't ask for help, in my opinion, except for if it's Krama. You know, she wants to be on those panels with the Krama where there's drama and she can take the heat off of her, in my opinion. The call to action, if you see X, call 911, right? Yeah, there's some kind of a call to action. We saw Seth do that. Unless there's some evidence to support a theory, right? Because if there's evidence to support a certain theory, then that's what the parent is going to go for, right? They're desperately seeking answers. They're just desperately seeking these answers. They began adjusting their language after criticism from the first week of interviews they did. They have mastered the art of adjustment. Suspicious. I agree, KJ Mack. And even, you know, when you go over the interviews, you can see them adding in details because of what was on camera, because of what people were saying and things like that. Absolutely. They showed their cards that they were definitely listening to what other people were saying. KP's soft voice and demeanor are fake. I believe she wears the pants, in my opinion. GA64, we did see that when we heard her talking with Chris, with Heather Cohen. She was very adamant. She wouldn't let Chris, you know, have the floor. She's like, no, I told him, I don't care what you're doing in there, go to sleep. She also stood up to Chris when it came to Sunday being a school night, which, by the way, Chris, Katie's right. Sunday is a school night. Annie Sampson says Chris and Katie should be in jail. Sumner County is helping them cover up Sebastian's disappearance. Spent more time trying to shut up BHB than finding Sebastian. We all see the corruption. I agree there, Annie, and I also want to add in that they, you know, took the time out to paint, you know, the front loading zone instead of going out there and supporting a father. That is very sketchy, in my opinion. You know, happy life, or happy wife, happy life. Exactly. Yeah, got to show it from the first date. Well, and you know, I mean, it's worth being with someone who does want to brighten your day. You know, I mean, if somebody wants to make you miserable, that's definitely toxic. It's usually how it is in Greece, Faye. Yes, Faye. I love that. That is one of my favorite movies. I can watch that movie over and over. The Bunt I just love that, you know. Exactly. If you believe you have a chance to address your missing child, you should take every opportunity to do so. Yeah, and why wouldn't you? I mean, that's where a lot of the moms and grandmas are at, right? You know? And look, DD's going to say it. She refused to talk, you know? Thank you. Thanks, Sasha, Jedi, Jedi friend. I sometimes wonder if Sebastian is watching. It freaks me out. We have to go and find him no matter what the result. Well, Sasha, you know, I'm glad you said that because I do agree that he could be out there watching. He could be. He really could be. You know? Sasha says women equal, they want attention, stability, men equal, want to be comfortable. Yeah, it is simple. I agree with that. I like stability. I do. I like predictability. I do. Hey, Sandy, in my opinion, thank you for being here. I think Sebastian was told he was going to go away, and Dad agrees. Yeah, well, we're going to hear about the picture too, Sandy. Thank you for being here. Give me 1 second. We'll go back into it.
Of missing children do spontaneously when they have an audience. In other words, these aren't things that they're coached to do by the police or the FBI or their attorneys. They just stem from the nature of the situation, the uncertainty about what happened, the curiosity about where their kid is right now and what they're going through, the undying hope that their kid will be found or return home, and the overwhelming instinct to get their kid back at any cost. Now, if parents don't do all these things, does that mean they're guilty? Of course not. But it does suggest that we should investigate further. If you've seen my videos about Michael Monkey Vaughn's mom or Gannon Stouch's biological mom, you'll know that they did all these things unprompted, no matter how big the audience they were talking to was. Like Chris said, Katie did directly address Sebastian through the media, a key item on the checklist. The only issue is she had to be prompted to do it, which Chris also said. And that's why I can't give Katie full points. For the checklist to give us insight into her mind state, she needs to do these things spontaneously, not at the request of the interviewer. But that's still better than Chris, who we can't give any points at all. Even when Elevated Truth brings up the notion of addressing Sebastian through the media, Chris still doesn't do it. Is he that certain that Sebastian isn't watching? Or is he just not concerned that he might be? In this next segment, I think we're going to get a clue to the answer to that question and some insight into what Chris really thinks about Sebastian.
It's been quite some time, though. Would you agree?
Right. And I want everybody to stop for 1 quick second. I'm going to rewind something here on you. In October, we had Halloween, one of Sebastian's favorite holidays. He's not home.
Right.
Thanksgiving, our family dinner table is incomplete. December 7th, people couldn't leave the day alone.
Sure couldn't.
Christmas is coming up. Once again, we have an incomplete holiday. New Year's.
So she's just
Valentine's Day.
Like,
And then right after Valentine's Day, what is the next one?
well, let's hope he's home by then instead of thinking.
Amen. Amen. But everybody wants to know why she doesn't talk. Maybe because she's a grieving mother. Maybe this is one of the worst stretches of the year for any person in this world who has had to deal with a personal tragedy, losing a loved one, anything. It's not that she doesn't want to talk, but respecting the fact.
We lost you, I think. We lost you.
We'll be back.
How about now?
Yeah,
You're
we
good
got
now.
you.
There we go.
Sorry.
There we go.
Well,
Chris, I don't mean.
Okay, guys, and I actually do think. Oh, sorry about that. I actually do think that Chris might be getting some liquid courage on in order to. In order to get up there, right? Because it's okay. I see myself moving. I wasn't moving for a second there, but yeah. I mean, I honestly see Chris doing that because I know we were talking about everybody in the camper being tipsy last night on Web Sleuths, and maybe that's when he does fly up on the panels and 5 wives, please. Mark. I mean, that's a lot of wives. That's a lot of wives, right? I mean, how many wives do we have? Oh, Lord. I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't want that many husbands. I can't speak for the men. Thanks, Mark. But I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot. Oh, Lord. But yeah, I do. I think he might. And again, I don't, I'm just guessing that that's the liquid courage that he needs to get up there because, then he feels comfortable. Because I do hear a little bit of, off speech there. We'll just say that.
Can interrupt you for a second. Addison, will you please make a comment so I can mod you? Queen asked me to mod you. So if you'll make a comment, please.
No. Reread that. Reread that.
But what I was saying is, when she's ready to talk, she'll talk. And I just ask that you respect the facts. It is the holidays. She is grieving. Seth is grieving. Everybody grieves in their own ways. Just have some respect about it.
Notice how Chris didn't say he's grieving, just Katie and Seth. And what does grieving even mean? It's usually how people process death, not an ongoing emergency like the disappearance of someone who might still be alive. But that's not the only clue that Chris might know or suspect the worst. When he was defending Katie's strange silence, he didn't say that the holidays are hard for someone who's experiencing an emergency. Instead, he referred to the tragedy as complete, as if it's already over. But when your child is missing, it's not over until you have answers. If I'm being charitable, I would say that Chris seems pessimistic about the odds of Sebastian being alive. If I'm not, I would say it's more than that.
A lot of people are saying that you guys aren't doing anything. Is there things that you guys are doing that you're just not broadcasting?
We don't broadcast what we do because it doesn't, one, like you said before, it gets twisted.
Mm-hmm.
And secondly, sometimes not having what we do broadcasted is actually a lot more effective because we can focus on doing what we need to do. Finding Sebastian, looking into things, whatever we need to do. Sometimes it's best not publicized.
Yeah. I mean, look, I got a photo of everybody searching, and that's torn apart, right?
Well, I'm going to put this out there, and I can't, God, I can't stand this for the life of me.
Well, can I just say something? There are things that I have personally heard, and this is not from Chris and Katie, okay? there was a situation talking, y'all know we've been in the neighborhood talking to people. I'm going to cry. Don't fucking judge me. But there was a neighbor who said the day after he went missing, Katie stepped outside and they just heard this like blood curdling scream. And she was outside screaming his name. And then she just like doubled over and fell on the pavement. And for days, she left a blanket, food, shoes outside for him. And this person was like, it was the most heartbreaking thing. And she was like crying, right? Because my assumption is she's a mom and that hits you. You know what I mean? It chokes me up.
Hearsay and gossip are totally unreliable, which is why I always try to focus on the suspect's own words. It's the reason I stopped analyzing this case for about 6 months, because the primary suspects stopped doing interviews. That said, let's assume this anecdote is true. What does it actually prove about Katie's guilt or innocence? At best, it shows that she is actively searching for Sebastian and she's genuinely heartbroken about his disappearance. But that doesn't mean she's clueless about what happened or even uninvolved. She could have sent him away in a fit of rage and now regrets that decision. At worst, Katie's actions here sound performative. Sobbing and screaming outdoors certainly gives the appearance of innocence to anyone within earshot, but it's far from the most meaningful thing she could be doing to help the search. In fact, the most useful things, like doing media interviews or working with Dog the Bounty Hunter and his team, are the things she refuses to do. In other words, doing one without doing the others suggests a desire to appear innocent without actually doing everything possible. And wherever we find these inconsistencies between one's stated desires and their actions, we often find liars.
Oh, I understand.
There you have it. We have Deception Detective saying this is where we find the liars, right? This is where we see people who are lying to make themselves look good, right? To make themselves look like they're not lying. So, I mean, and he is trained in statement analysis. He's trained to find these little nuances, right, that would indicate if someone is being deceptive or not. And I don't believe the story either, KJ Mac. I heard the same thing about the neighbor. And also they tried to pass a story off as well on Cluminati's channel, of course, about Chris and Katie leaving some sort of like care packages. I don't know how to really explain it, but they were putting together like, you know, snacks and food, right, to lure Sebastian out. But then come to find out it was really, you know, the sheriff's department that did that. Right. So they were trying to find him that way, but they were trying to pass it off again like Chris and Katie did it. It's frustrating as hell. You know, it really is. And they broadcast their woes over themselves. They're always complaining about how people don't believe them and on all of this. The story doesn't ring true for me for a lot of reasons. And one being because it does seem very performative on Katie's part that she's going to go outside and scream in front of all of her neighbors and then throw herself to the floor. I also find it funny that, and I'd have to go back and see when this interview actually came out. If you guys know when this interview was with Elevated Goof and the rest of this panel, could you please put it in the chat? Because I just want to go back to the Hatfield McCoy's interview or phone conversation, rather, with Chris Proudfoot. And Chris says that that Katie's not a Hallmark movie type of a girl who's going to throw herself down in the yard. You guys remember that? I do. I just don't know when this interview came out in relation to when they said that to the Hatfield McCoys. I mean, what is that? That's a huge lie. They lied, bull-faced lied right there. Food and blanket was left by the neighbor. That's what I heard, KJ Mac. Katie wasn't doing any of that. That is a whole ass lie right there. And Clue likes to lie. You know? I mean, look at her picture. So, we have Perfectly Imperfect Boy Mom says, BS, in my opinion, I wouldn't leave a blanket and shoes and drink outside. Maybe sit out there myself or sleep outside, maybe, but no. No, I agree with that. I mean, the thing is that Sebastian had access to the house. He had the code for the front door. Right? And maybe you would sleep inside their room. I mean, you would do things, you know, if she wanted to show the public how upset she was, how distraught she is, even I guess grieving is the word they like to use, which is usually associated when someone has passed, in my opinion. We'll just say it like this. They could have done the green light bulbs. They could have done green lights outside. They could have done ribbons around the trees. They could be passing out flyers. Katie could start her own channel and start building awareness. She could start volunteering for other organizations trying to find missing kids. All kinds of things. She can start Sebastian's Law, where they start, in my opinion, this needs to be a law. You need to start treating these cases of missing children like a crime investigation from day one, even if you think they might have run away. Follow the evidence, but gather the evidence as well. That way there's no mistaking it. That way, because you can't go back. That's the whole deal. You cannot go back. So you'd think she'd be more interested in that than worrying about, you know, throwing herself around her freaking front yard. What the hell is that going to do? What is that going to do? You going to swoon like the 1950s ladies do? I don't think so. That was all an act, just like the act in the front yard was. If it happened, allegedly, in my opinion, it probably didn't. I consider the source too. IML says she left stuff outside on the porch while she left town, like she's a stray cat, or like he's a stray cat, right? And that's another thing that I did hear, that when they left town, there was things left on the porch. But why would she need to do that again? You know, IML, that's a good point. And, you know, to your point, because he had the code. Sebastian could have gotten in any time he wanted to. Diane Highland says, why would KP leave shoes and blankets and snacks outside for Sebastian when he had the code to get in the door? Did they change the door code? And maybe they did, Diane. That's a good point. You know, because that's my point, you know, that he had the code. But to your point, he might not have had the code anymore if they changed it. Thank you so much. Sebastian knows the code to the front door. He could enter the house. Yeah, unless they changed it. Yeah, that's terrible, right? KJ Mac, right? We're all thinking the same thing, you know? And I mean, sometimes that's not always a good thing. We all have to be free thinkers, but in the same way, when we all come to the same conclusion, it's kind of like solving a word problem, right? There's a right answer to a word problem. And I mean, the most logical answer is going to be like, okay, did he have the code or did they change it or what? And did she do that just because she was leaving town? I want his toy crane with a signature. The autographed toy crane. Oh, Lord, Mark. Holly S., good to see you. Thank you for being here. Shut up, glue hole. I can't stand her. I know, Veronica. It's bad. It's bad with these. You know, this is why I don't go over these typically. That's why I was glad that, you know, we have DD. He can break it up a little bit. And bring some truth to it, because it's hard to watch these and not say something, you know, that's not so nice, in my opinion, because what disgusts me the most is that these are the people that Chris chooses to hang out with, you know, people who are self-proclaimed crama channels. They're not worried about solving a true crime. They want the drama associated with true crime, and true crime is drama, right? It's dramatic, it's traumatic, it's incredibly sad. It could really break your heart if you're, you know, a person who cares. But if you're a person who just wants to seek out the drama, there's plenty of it. Look at the family dynamics that we deal with here. We deal with very sketchy dynamics. We even deal with sex crimes, right? Which are terrible, violating, awful, controlling, coercive control at its worst, in my opinion. We deal with narcissism. We deal with children who are poof. Oh, I don't know what happened to them. And then we find out that they're in a shallow grave like little Jaden Spicer. But they'd rather go talk to these fools than to talk to Deception Detective? Are you fucking kidding me? Same thing goes for the McCoys. If they're willing to talk to you, if they can stomach sitting across from you, then why are you not talking to them? Because they're going to ask you questions that you don't like? No, I'm going to say it's probably because you're guilty, in my opinion. Holly S. says, yes, woke up from a nap and I see Queen Bee and Deception Detective. What kind of menopausal nightmare is this? Holly S., that's great. Oh, my Lord. Girl, I know. I'm just glad he did this because I did review it when it came out. 6 people in a box, you know. I know, and then there's me. There goes Deception Detective. This other one is Body Movement, by the way. You know, so panel is Elevated Goof. You got Clue McNasty. We got Queen Bizzle. We have Chrissy Pissy Pants. We got Granny's Watching. We got who, you know, has a vocabulary of a 3rd grader, and then we have Body Movin', who did Don't Fuck with Cats. And that's about all I know about Body Movin', other than, you know, she may or may not have been involved in some of the shit shows that we've witnessed on, like America's Most Wanted or the Dateline NBC, where Katie was adding details about checking Sebastian's bathroom that she's never said before. You know, these are all people that I don't trust. And obviously I don't like them. And they don't like me. But nevertheless, this is what Chris chooses. And this is my point. Excuses, right? Because he won't talk with the McCoys. He won't talk with a 40-year veteran law enforcement agent, right? Police officer. Sorry, I don't know what to call y'all. You know, if I missay it, it's no disrespect. It's just me, right? Because I'm not a professional. I'm just a YouTuber. Diane says, and if KP went outside and screamed and folded, it was pure theatrics, in my opinion. Thank you, Diane. That is a very good word for it. Theatrics, right? Because that's what it reminds me of. Like those old movies where the ladies are like, oh, and they fall over. But really, it's like they're falling over. Like, get up. You know? What the hell? I mean, it just shows because women are so much stronger these days, but like that's how we were portrayed, ladies. Wouldn't Sebastian have the code for the door? Didn't they have a keypad doors? So some of them were. The front door was absolutely a keypad. I'm guessing like the garage door had one too, because, you know, obviously it's not like a keypad, or excuse me, a turnkey. So yeah, it's, to my knowledge, the back door was a key. The sliding glass doors and things were keys, but then the front door was not, and then probably the garage, if I could speculate. Sandy. So Katie would be a good babysitter. Or so Katie wouldn't be a good babysitter. With an upside down smiley face. No, not at all. Not at all. She'd go to bed and she'd put the kids to bed, and then she doesn't know where they are. Poof. Oh Lord. Holly S. says, in my opinion, it's possible she could have been intoxicated when she was out there hollering and crying. Just my opinion, and stories is even true. Well, you know, I mean, that's true. Look, we're all a little bit more animated when we've been drinking. Let's be honest, you know. So yeah, that could have been some liquid tears right there for her, like I was saying with the liquid courage with Chris, because he does seem to get on these panels like a little bit, you know, shitty. You know, and I'm not saying he's so drunk off his ass. No, I'm just saying he's a little shitty. Perfectly Imperfect Boy Mom says, also, if Katie is so guarded with her emotions, then why would she do that with all of the neighbors? I sure wouldn't. I'd bawl my eyes out and scream from inside my house. Yeah, really. I'd be in his room. I think I'd be like spending, time in his room, probably doing that, like crying. Like I could see if people were hearing it from his bedroom. I mean, that would make it more dramatic, in my opinion. And sad, right? I mean, but like we don't need all of that. That's not what we need. Because if we saw a strong mom out there, and she shed some tears, but she was out there looking, it would be a lot different. And I know a lot of people would say, but sometimes the people that are involved are out there looking too, which is very true. I'm not saying that, but thanks, Mark. But like in the same way, yeah, both the footlings were swollen up with cortisol puff. Alcohol will give you that soft red glow. Yeah, that is true. Well, and two, it's like, you gain weight if you're just sitting around too and drinking. Like that is the best way, especially as we get older. Like, I mean, that's where the beer bellies come in and stuff. Have him explain this time his studs workers. Yeah. Well, and I mean, here's the thing about Chris. He wants to act so manly, but like the real things that make a good man are not like that. Oh, I gotta be tough. I mean, yeah, do that with your buddies at work, but do that with the drinking buddies. Act like that around them, but you don't act like that in general. I mean, in my opinion. But she got a tattoo with his name, lady. She did. Well, I know. Did she get his name on the tattoo? I thought it was just like a heart thing with a cross or whatever. KJ Mack, it's my opinion that the footlings don't have time to advocate for Sebastian. They have tracks to cover. That's time consuming. Well, it is, KJ Mack, and it's nerve wracking, like to get up in front of everybody, right? And especially when you know more than you're letting on. That's got to be so stressful. I would never want to be in that position. It's got to be super uncomfortable and, not a fun situation to be on or be in. And I will go back to, it only takes one mistake, Veronica says, yes, and I'm not fond of them right now. H&M, they need to do more research. I know they are trying to do, but also they don't know the whole story like we do. Yeah, I mean, I think that's true. I think there's a lot to go over. Like, you'd have to go back and listen to all of these interviews in chronological order, in my opinion. That's the way my brain works. I want to hear it, like, especially now. I want to know when this interview was, and then I want to know when, I know when Hatfield McCoy did their phone call. That was October of 2024, right? Now this, I'm trying to piece it back together of when this was. And I think this was somewhere around that time. So again, he's telling Hatfield McCoy's, hey, we're not this Hallmark, we're not Hallmark kind of people. We're not out there being cheesy and throwing ourselves around. I'm paraphrasing and not directly quoting him. Katie's not going to be out there throwing herself in the yard is something to the effect of that is what he said. So, but then he's telling the Hatfields and, Coy's this. And then now on here, they're going, clues like, oh, I did see Katie throwing herself around the yard. Oh, bullshit. I mean, I just can't with that. I can't. It's frustrating. Like it ticks me off. And I think that's kind of maybe the goal. But see, they didn't think that the McCoys were going to play it. I don't think, they probably thought it wasn't taped or didn't know or something. I don't know. I'm not going to speculate. I'm glad they released it because it gives us more insight. It gives us another huge piece to the puzzle, in my opinion, But again, I won't ever fault somebody if they have a difference of opinion than me. If I look at their core values and who they are as someone that I'd rather be aligned with than like these fools up on the panel, then I, I'm going to be a little bit more open-minded with disagreeing. I mean, now if they was to come out and say something that was completely awful and mean and hateful, then I would be like, well, I don't want to align myself with that, right? I mean, but I'm sure that goes the same with me. Now, listen, I swear, I cuss up here, I do. And I know that's very bad of me, and I know that I have a wider vocabulary than that. I can use better words, whatever, but, I get mad too. And so I understand, like, I could use some colorful language myself. A mom that doesn't help looking, for fuck's sake. I know, Mark. It kills me. I mean, that's the thing. Like, I just think of, like, too, and maybe this is me being selfish, but, like, I would want my mom to, my mom would definitely be looking for me, like, that's why I feel so bad for Sebastian. And then, like, my motherly instinct kicks in. I'm like, well, if she's not going to stand up for him, I will. And I think a lot of the moms and dads feel that way. Like, we look at this young man and we're like, he needs people to stand up for him. Like, the system failed Sebastian, in my opinion, guys. They did. And I don't mean that to be like, oh, all the social workers are horrible and da-da-da. No, it's not that. I don't feel that way at all. I don't feel that way about law enforcement. I feel like law enforcement could use some tweaking and, but I mean, like, I wish Sheriff Grady Judd could go around and, train all the cops, because he does a really good job, right? But there's other ways that I think officers can really become more compassionate and understanding and looking for things like mental illness, domestic violence, different things like that. It's really important for them to be able to identify these things, right? Like, we can identify it all day long, but they need to be identifying it as well. They just do. They do. They need to identify the issues. Sorry, guys, I forgot I camped down for so long. But yeah, I mean, they need to identify the issues. They need to be more knowledgeable about cyber issues, right? Too, like cyberbullying and things like that. Because cyberbullying is pretty scary if you think about how they could put a tracker on your vehicle, or, somebody could be surveilling you, without your knowledge. Things like that is pretty intense, right? And people are crazy enough to do it. That's where the mental health comes into play. So, and then again, too, it's so sad when you go and you see somebody who has a mental illness and the cops are like, kind of manhandling them or whatever. Now, they need to stay safe, in my opinion. Please, by all means, police officers, when you're out there, I'm not here to tell you what to do on your job, please. By all means, what you need to do is what you need to do. But I mean, just when somebody's displaying some mental health issues and stuff, pinning them down, things like that, sometimes it's not the best way to approach it, right? There's other ways we can do it. So I think that's, as a society, we're always evolving. Again, I talked about women, swooning and stuff. Detroit Rock City says, so why say no to flyers being passed out at the Pig Fest? I don't know. I don't see the big deal, Detroit. I don't. Who are they to call the shots? And Craddock says he has nothing to do with the Pig Fest, makes them look even more suspicious, in my opinion. Right. Like, he denied it. He said, I don't have anything to do with that. Thanks, Detroit. I agree with that. And I don't see why people can't just go over and wear the t-shirts and show up there. Why? How come people couldn't? I mean, I understand we can't put flyers like on the vehicles, but like when people are coming in and people are just standing around, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to I understand when people are trying to find parking and stuff, it's a big event. There's going to be lots and lots and lots of people there from all over, right? There's probably people that travel to get there and things like that. So I don't want anybody being in a parking lot and, impeding traffic, things like that. But I just don't see the big deal. I don't see why somebody couldn't have sat with a tent right outside the event like they asked for. Like, what? And why would you stir the pot even more and be like, oh, yeah, well, let me go have lunch with Chris and Kate? Like, there's so much going on with that. That's ridiculous. And then it kind of solidifies what we're thinking about corruption. And I don't know. It's weird that they don't care. It's weird that they're scared to care. Perfectly Imperfect Boy mom says, we should see her in person. She looks rough and doesn't. Oh, you should see her in person. She looks rough and she doesn't even look the same in person as she does in her lives, in my opinion. At least a few times seen her live. Oh, did I miss something? I'm not sure which one. Perfectly Imperfect by Mom. Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, I know there's like, I think I know who now. Sorry, I brain fart there. I don't. The Hatfields and the McCoy think they all three let Sebastian down. Don't they? Oh, don't they think they all did? Yeah, but you know, I mean, that's going to be an initial reaction to new information, in my opinion. Or if they're presenting it for the first time and they already knew it, I can see why they're going over it. I mean, I've gone over a lot of different aspects of Seth's, like when it comes to his interviews and things like that. Like I've gone over that a lot on my channel too, because I think it's important to do it. It's just hard. It's just really hard because like when it comes to Seth, it's like I was reading over those documents when they came out. People were showing them, right? And, you know, I always pause to read it for myself and things like that. A lot of that stuff was allegations and it was unfounded, right? And it all started around the time of the divorce, right? And these are things that are really important to look at, right? If the domestic violence wasn't always there, right? A lot of times you're going to see it when the divorce comes into play, that people are slinging mud is what I call it. And I think that's what was going on with Seth's situation. I think he was getting mud slang his way because Katie wanted everything. And she even tried to take full custody of Sebastian. Like 100% custody. I mean, look, I'm here to tell you, kids need both of their parents, especially if you're letting your husband raise your son. Then your son's going to need him, especially with Sebastian having, and they didn't know it at the time, but with him having autism. That probably really upset Sebastian to be away from his dad like that, in my opinion. I mean, and to me, that's evil. I think both parents need to be in the kid's life unless it's like a Jake Harrow, where he's actually abusing, you know. And yeah, if he's not the best guy, then the mom should get custody, sure. But, I mean, to just be like, oh, you're never seeing your dad again after he was raising you since you were, you know, what, he was like 7, maybe, I think, when they divorced. I'm sorry, Seth, if you're in here, correct me, please, you know. And that's the thing about Seth. He knows he can just come in here and be like, lady, you're wrong. You got, you know, and I'll like, okay, thanks, Seth. You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing. He's okay like that. He's cool like that. He says, thank you for covering Sebastian, right? It doesn't matter what I say. And guys, he wants people to look at both sides. He's always wanted the FBI, the TBI, the Sumner County Sheriff's Office to look at everything and find Sebastian. That's all he cares about. That's literally all he cares about, is finding Sebastian. That's been my experience. So, Detroit says, what if Seth passed out flyers at the Pig Fest? How could they say no to him, the grieving father? Well, I know. I mean, that's what I'm trying to get plans in order, Detroit. Yeah, to be able to get there. Yeah, I'll go stand with Seth and pass out the flyers. I'll wear the t-shirt. Absolutely. I'll pin flyers to my shirt. You know, I mean, it's about spreading awareness for Sebastian, and it never should be denied. The whole town should be right there. I don't understand the lack of care, except for, I mean, if they're willing to threaten the United Cajun Navy, the United Cajun Navy made a statement. This is just one example. They made a statement. They came out and said why they pulled out of the search efforts is because they were being threatened. They said that they did report these instances, but then Sumner County Sheriff's Office, Eric Craddock himself, denied everything. That never happened. Nobody's being threatened. I never got any reports of it. Okay. Right? We're back to square one again. We're back to being in the shit, being in the weeds. You know? Because he's denying what all of these people are saying happened. It's unbelievable. Why put a blanket and milk outside the front door? Sebastian knows the code to the house, right? I know, Faye, unless they changed it, which was, Diane said, hey, they may have changed it. Hey, Lori, good to see you. The fake faint, Veronica, like, oh, and then they fall over, all dramatic, oh, but this time I guess Katie was like falling, doubling over, it sounded like, so she was more like throwing herself around the damn yard, and I don't know why. And now, guys, I'm not trying to be mean, like, I'm not, but again, theatrics, performative, her best Meryl Streep, as, Pascal would put it. Tina, good to see you, Tina. Everything the Proud Pricks say is lies, think the opposite, they sold them. Well, and that's part of what I think could be. Oh, give me a second, guys. Jingo, here's something. We'll just play this next clip.
Completely when Chris feels like even something is being insinuated about her. And I understand why he gets upset and immediately wants to come to her defense. He loves her. It's what he's supposed to do.
Right. Like I said earlier, he's being a protective husband, right? Like, I get it.
People are going to push back because they're saying already, like, no, you cared more about the truck. To clarify, that right there was going to lead to another 100 live streams saying, boom, Chris is guilty. So it's not that he cared about the truck over Sebastian. He cares about, as he said, the misinformation and disinformation, or half of the information being out there that leads to hours of speculation that does not result or even help Sebastian be found because it's not based on fact. So no, he didn't care about the truck. Was being simple-minded.
Well, once again, that's where people, they have their opinions. And I've stated the fact.
Well, opinions don't write a probable cause affidavit, and people need to remember that. Your feelings about people and maybe them being shady or, whatever, and I'm talking to the creators and the viewers, they don't write a PCA, right? You have to have evidence. And as we all know, right now, there is no evidence against anybody. So to start an investigation and hire a private intelligence agency and have them come out the gate after Chris and Katie is wild to me. Wild to me. What kind of intelligence agency starts an investigation with suspects in mind? It's fucking wild.
Accusing someone without evidence is bad, but so is gathering evidence against them. This circular logic is a death spiral for truth-seeking. And it's also why I only focus on de facto, actual guilt or innocence on my channel, not whether it can be proven beyond a reasonable doubt in court. Because in real life, that's what actually matters. And I urge you to think the same way, no matter what this panelist says. You're not a juror, and you're not building a legal case. You don't need to presume anyone's innocence. You can consider all the evidence, even the inadmissible stuff like polygraphs and statement analysis. And yes, you can form an opinion even if you're not sure beyond a reasonable doubt. Now, to be clear, I don't think anyone should be locked up based on these standards. The government should and must prove guilt beyond a reasonable doubt before taking away someone's freedom. But I also think that if Chris or Katie invited your kid to a sleepover or volunteered to coach their little league team, you should politely decline.
So anyway, your facts, your feelings don't write a PCA.
Actually, some of their feelings did write out a whole.
Well, they wrote out an injunction, but not a PCA, not a probable cause, right? Come on, like
that's not even going to.
And you have to be in true. I've been in true crime a really long time. You guys know me from the shows and stuff, but like you have to be able to bend with the evidence, right? You have to. You can have an idea of something, but you have to bend your theory with the evidence. And right now, We all hate it, but there is no evidence, you guys.
Well, yeah, and
that
some
we know
sisters-
about. That we.
Okay, guys, so I just wanted to pop down here really quick and just say I do agree with body movement. You do have to bend to go with whatever the evidence is telling us, right? We just do. Oh, sorry, I think I was, muted. But yeah, I do agree with body movement here, right? Where she says that we have to bend with the evidence. I agree with that completely. You know, if the evidence takes us somewhere, then we can't deny that, right? If that's the proof of that we have the evidence, right? So absolutely agree there. But here's the thing. They're saying they don't have any evidence, but I believe they do. And they changed it at the end there. They said, you know, that we don't know about, that we don't know about. I agree. I think that there are pieces of evidence that have not been shared. Obviously, we haven't seen all of the videos. We can't even see the trash can being taken to the end of the driveway. And thank you so much, Holly S., for your super sticker. You're so sweet. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And Lori says, exactly, lady. Thanks, Lori, for being here. Why is this mother not passing out flyers? I don't know. I mean, that's the deal, Holly S. It's very easy. Very, very easy. So I just kind of wanted to pop in there and say that as well. Just, you know, we do need to change our theory based on what we know to be true, right? If it changes, if we find out a new piece of information that, you know, is good enough to sway our opinion, then that's okay. I'm prepared for that, actually. I'm prepared for us to maybe find something out that we didn't think, you know? Yeah, we need the governor, Mark. I agree. I mean, that's why I don't like to get so political, but we have to. I mean, those are the people that can help out. So, coincidence that Sebastian disappeared the same date of the divorce. Well, in my opinion, there are no coincidences in true crime. I agree, Faye. I mean, that is something that we've, you know, saw play out historically. Seth, I didn't know I was allowed in here. Thanks, Miss Lady. Seth, quit playing. Oh my gosh. You know you're always welcome. That's so funny. I just want my son to be found and brought home. I know, Seth. I know. That's why I'm like, look, and you know, I don't like to speak for you, but I mean, I know that that's all you care about. And sorry, I'm behind in the comments, guys. Seth says, I was attempting to be funny with the above comment about being allowed in here, just saying. Oh yeah, no, I know. No, I got you on the first try. Hey, Eric with an H. Good to see you. Good to see you. Say hello to April, unless April's in here. Aw. No, and I mean, we're always glad, excuse me, we're always glad to have you, Seth. Always, always, always. I'm tired of the other side calling Sebastian's case a circus. Oh, hey, Tina girl. No, I think they're the ones that created it like that. I do. I think they created it like that. They go to these people instead of going to Deception Detective. You'll hear it, guys. He's going to be like, hey, I invited them. I invited them to talk, you know? Well, there you go, Holly S. That would be so much fun. Yeah. No, not anything on here. We can't do that. Oh, we will be staying at the Best Western. No, I'm just kidding. Oh God, that would be. Look, I'd be lying if I said that I wasn't, you know, a little worried about going. But I mean, look, you can't let fear rule your life. You know, fear's a good thing. It makes you aware of things, but it doesn't control you. You know, total control freak. I agree, Tina girl. Oh, good, Seth. I'm glad. Man, that heat takes it out of you. It really does. It's like like I said the other day, I could be sitting at the beach and just be a wreck the next day, you know, because I'll be sunburned and the sun just takes a lot out of you. I did not hire an intelligence agency. Someone else did. Yeah, thank you, Seth. I know that there was a lot of questions about that. As well, and I'm aware. I was aware of that. Hey, Grace Paris. Hey, Mama Grace. Good to see you, Lady Child. I love Grace. So good to see you. That's right. I recall that this was done by someone else and everyone was trying to guess who it was who hired them. So much has happened all the time due to the footling. Yeah, I agree. Obstruction mission. I think that's what it is in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, I agree with that completely. I do. It's absolutely crazy. And around this time, there was a lot going on, right? I'm trying to think back. Like I said, I really want to know what date this is, just because that's how my brain works. I would like to, but would rather Sebastian be found beforehand. Absolutely. I know. And see, that's the thing, Seth, that's so hard. I even said that yesterday when I was talking about, well, maybe Katie would come out and talk at the 2-year mark. But then again, like, who wants to wait for that? Nobody. Nobody wants to wait for that. We'd rather him be found today, Blessed, I love you. She says, I bend for nothing. Look, we have drawn lines in the sand, right? I mean, shoot, I put my war paint on because, look, it doesn't look good, It just doesn't. We need flyers in Nashville, Tennessee, and California, where Sebastian lived before, big time. Yeah, that's a good idea, Sasha. I think we need him all over the place. KJ Maxx says corruption, conspiracy, and collusion are just facts of life and human nature. To deny it is a low IQ activity. Oh, to deny it is yeah, I agree. Because that's like sticking your head in the sand, right? It's one thing to draw a line in the sand. It's a whole other thing to stick your head in it. I'd rather be that person like Blessed who's like, I'm not bending. Absolutely. But I'm saying if there's a big piece of information that comes out, I might change my mind. I mean, look, I'm not going to be flipping over and doing anything like that. That to me is insane. And then the hatefulness is not to thanks, Diane. I mean, that's overboard and again, performative, over dramatic, theatrical. That's the best word. I love that, Diane. Bless says, Seth, we're so glad that you join us and you're feeling better. We love you. Aw, Bless, you're so sweet. Aw. Seth, don't apologize. Look, you're doing, it is so stressful. I can't imagine the stress. They weren't making it easy either. Nobody was, people were, our beautiful Jen and we love Jeff and, all of our friends that were there, that's what it's about. It's about getting together, standing together for Sebastian. That's what it's about. I wish something bigger than Pigfest could be done. All Hendersonville knows about Sebastian missing already. I think there should be a large protest asking the FBI or joggers to step in. I agree. I think that we need more resources. I think that we need to get it out of, Sheriff Craddock's Kung Fu grip. And I say that because he's got it in his freaking Kung Fu grip, like not letting it go. That's the worst thing that can happen, guys, is it just stays open and nobody does anything. Because then nobody can FOIA any information. It happened to my friend Crystal's sister, Jana. I almost said my friend Crystal. I always get those two mixed up. I do that with Seth and Sebastian too. Globally would be the bare minimum for me. I know. Everybody needs to know. Seth, when you were standing out there, I don't know if you watched or if you had the chat going, but that day you were standing out there, I think it was Tuesday. Obviously, you were out there for several days, all week that week. People were sending love from all over the place. Like they were sending, they were sending well wishes from Ireland even. I mean, we had people in the UK here. We had people all over Kentucky, Ohio. right? New York. I mean, everybody, guys. California. I mean, it was amazing, Seth. Like, there's a lot of people that know about Sebastian that I was like, I didn't even realize how far the reach was. So, I mean, no mind changing over here, says Bless. No, you know, and like, I'm trying to think of like a circumstance where I might think something different. Oh, okay. Like, say we saw Sebastian walking through the neighborhood. Like, say someone comes forward at this point, which, I mean, you know, obviously this is hypothetical. But like, say they did come out right now and they were like, this is Sebastian walking out of the neighborhood, right? Like, some neighbor magically on Kellen is like, look, you know, I mean, I would analyze the crap out of that thing and make sure it was real. But I mean, that might change my mind as to like, okay, maybe he did go out in the neighborhood. That's about something that would maybe sway me. But I still would, you know, look, you got to look at the person who was last with Sebastian too. We're not talking about, you know, an 18-year-old kid, even a 17-year-old kid. We're talking about a 15-year-old, just turned 15, by the way, who has medical issues, right? You know, and that's just putting it in a nutshell. He needs his mom. He was very attentive of his mom, right? You look at Sebastian, he was he was wondering what was going on with that green hoodie, buddy. He was looking in that direction and he didn't stop looking the whole time. He follows, right? Follow. I mean, you know, we do that because we love our parents. We're looking out for our parents, you know, especially a boy, especially his mom, in my opinion. Eric says, Lady Freedom, did you see At Night's latest post concerning Sumner County? No, I have not. I did not see that, Eric. Oh my gosh, I would have probably shared it out. Praying for you, Seth and Sebastian. Thanks, Busy Mama. In my opinion, there is a conflict of interest since, in my opinion, he and his wife are friends with the prophet, allegedly, in my opinion. Town Chat Cafe, yeah. And I mean, you know, it's my opinion, too, that there are deeper ties that bind here. Very coincidental, and then, you know, we know that there's no coincidences, right? Diane Highland says, plan to be at Pigfest with my new Sebastian shirt. Thanks, Seth. Aw. And it sounds like a lot of others plan to as well. Good, Diane. I'm so glad to hear that. Yeah, I'm trying to figure it out. You know, I think the best night would be steak night. Aw. Yeah, thank you, Busy Mama. Busy Mama says, I update my Oregon family all the time. You were another one that was in chat that day because I remember Oregon. Yeah, because I was saying Oregon, you know. Seth says, Tulsi Gabbard, Cash Patel, Dan Bongino, and the people we need to be able to contact to get the case out of Sheriff SS's hands. Yes. The USS Snuggle Struggle. Jesus, Seth. Sorry, that was me, not you. I'm just, oh boy, you know, I'm playing on words there. I pop in for a few minutes, putting off the next chore. Show poodles. Thank you for being here. Yeah, Australia, Holly S. Yes, I'm so sorry, little Miss Sharon. Oh my goodness. Thank you, Eric. I just got your message. I saw it pop up. I was so inspired by Seth standing up for Sebastian that it was, that is what a loving parent does, right? I know, exactly. I'm like, I didn't see anything wrong with it except for the heat, right? Because I mean, it is extremely hot out there. Like, you stand out there in that heat for an hour and you're like, I mean, the phones are like, you know, unaliving themselves out there, right? It's so hot. Bless, I agree. And look, it generated hype around Sebastian's case, right? That's what we need to have, because that's what happens, you know, when that doesn't happen, it goes cold. That's what you see other parents doing. Again, Kyron Horman's mom, Desiree, right? Desiree is out there and she is like doing car washes. I mean, you know what I mean? But the thing is she's not getting the kind of opposition and crap that Seth is getting, in my opinion, from law enforcement. The way they handled that, piss poor, just like their investigation. Sloppy, piss poor, corrupt. Those are the words that come to mind. Taking a parent at face value, worrying about the parents and how they feel more than about how Sebastian feels. We watched yesterday, the first 7 days, emergency management services director talking about how he's going to go over and, talk with the parents, aka Chris and Katie. To my knowledge, Seth wasn't there. And he's going to go tell them everything about the investigation and share the details. He said that publicly on a news clip. I didn't make that up. I didn't go searching through anything that he said on a hot mic or something. He said it to everybody. Everybody could hear it. I posted it a year ago. I think that was a year ago. Come on. And you expect me to think you're not being corrupt? Oh, mom was at the house. I can't believe how much she must be feeling right now. Stuff like that. Well, what about Seth? Look at the phone call he had to get first thing in the morning when he got off work. I guess it would be at the end of your evening. But only us graveyard shift people know that. The director of Homeland Security, the director of FBI, the assistant director of FBI. Yeah, and I tried to get out to Kash Patel. I haven't gotten anything back from Kash. I will say I'm not happy with that outcome, Seth. But that doesn't mean you give up, though. We have to keep going. We have to keep writing them. Keep writing them. Keep writing them. Yeah, we need to definitely get heavy into those letter writing campaigns. And a big one, too, Eric is in here. Guys, he sent me that information. We went over it, too, looking into how we can get this initiated. There is a policy called Tender Years Policy that we need to see if we can get them to accept Sebastian under that policy. Because in my opinion, he fits the criteria. Oh, everything tastes like burnt petroleum from the fresh blacktop. Oh my gosh. That smell is terrible. I know exactly what you're talking about. Sebastian's army must get untied and start sending emails. Untied. Goodness sake, Faye. Sebastian's army must get united and start sending emails. I agree. Yeah, I agree with that. I think that's something to make them listen. I do. Hey, Bet Cook says, what really upset me was Sebastian being shown in Israel that, in my opinion, pleases hurtful when came up. Shame on you, person, for even acknowledge that Mount Vernon, Washington. Thanks, Bet. Oh, you're talking about the sighting in Tel Aviv. I looked at the pictures, right? There were some that I was like, no, I don't think that's Sebastian at all. There was a few that were really close. But I'm sorry you were offended by that. I know that that's a touchy subject, and, my heart goes out to anyone, guys. I even heard about an earthquake in the Taliban. Gee whiz. But I don't want any humans to suffer or be hurt, right? So I'm sorry, Bet, that was triggering. Busy Mama says, Veronica, where did you get your shirt? Bless says, I'm just kidding in a way about no mind changing. I'm concerned about false flags. I want Ellie to show us action and results. I feel you on that, Bless. I do. It's, it is hard because, and people have done the flip thing where they've actually lost their ever loving mind, in my opinion, and have to be hateful with each other and, I'm totally full bore and going to do this. And it's what in the world? Something had to have initiated that strange and unusual behavior, right? That's just, it's not normal to me. It's one thing to change your mind. It's one thing to have a different point of view. It's a whole thing altogether to be hateful for no reason, or sit on a panel and be disgusting in the name of Sebastian is gross to me. I can't get on board with that. I never will. I spent so much time at the firehouse during those 8 days that the sheriff asked me to leave. I remember that, Seth. I remember that. And I'm sorry, you guys. Nate just opened that freaking window like right on me, so I'm looking like, I guess, a celestial being of sorts. I don't know. It's like weird. Sorry. It's right in my face. I'm a vampire. I don't really like a lot of light. But yeah, I mean, and that's the thing, Seth, and you were trying to figure out what you could do to help, but they were like halting the search too. I thought that was so weird. If they already have Katie at home waiting for Sebastian to come back, right? Because he could have came back in that time, right? I mean, back then we didn't know any of this, right? We didn't know all the extras. But like, so they got Katie staying at home, right? She's there. And again, I mean, Katie's not a fragile flower, guys. She's a trained military personnel. So, you know, with that being said, they could have had her there. And where's Chris at? Not searching. I think he went out once, right? Something like that. Sharon Marlowe, thank you for sending that super chat. The evil behind Sebastian will be caught. I believe they are investigating from Washington. There is a lot going on in that county, in my opinion. I believe the same thing. I do. I believe that there's a lot going on, far too much for us to even get into. But I think that the more that we bring awareness, I know, Faye, the more that we bring awareness, the better. Hold on one second. All right. Okay. Sorry, guys. And we need Karen Reed's attorney. That guy, yeah. Good point, Veronica. I wasn't even thinking about that. That wasn't on my radar. I know that they sent out letters to Washington from Lolly's chat. Oh, cool, Lori. Thank you for sharing that. That's amazing. Yeah, I mean, everybody's doing great. I even heard that Jay also has letter writing campaigns and stuff too. I shared it out as well. I mean, we all got to stick together. We all got to be sending that out. I have some shirts for those that do show up. Oh, cool, Seth. That's awesome. Oh my gosh. That's fantastic. Thank you. All right, guys, let's play this. I'm sorry, this nasty crap.
All about. If I may, because I've never had a chance to speak to you, Chris, on a panel or anything, if I may seek this opportunity to ask some of the questions that they are using, basing their feelings on. Did you and Katie take a vacation shortly after Sebastian's disappearance?
To where?
I mean, I don't know. They're all saying you guys went on vacation.
No, we have never, in this whole deal, like, we haven't been on a vacation.
Why are you people telling me to stop? Wouldn't you, would you rather seek this opportunity to clear up rumors and hopefully get some solid answers? Or do you guys want to have a little, where we can all powwow and tell everybody how great each other is?
Exactly.
I'm sorry, I'd rather seek this opportunity, but I'll digress. We'll go
ahead. No, don't digress, because you're right. It is the perfect.
Say whatever the hell you want. Fuck them people.
This is what he's here for, but all right, you guys can.
No, you're good. Granny, I've got you up here as a guest. If they don't like it, they can leave.
I mean, I feel like these are solid. I don't know. Do we want to waste this away by saying oh, I respect you. Well, you respect me. Well, this is great. No, I want to hear about Sebastian. What, did you go on vacation? The answer is no. Do your parents own a private jet?
Chris said he and Katie didn't take a vacation, and I believe him. But that doesn't mean they didn't spend the night somewhere else or even leave town.
All right, guys. And I just wanted to pop in here really quick. I'm sorry. I'm popping in here again really quick. Look, this is the drama I'm talking about. Like, it's all about them and who's saying what in the chat. It has nothing to do, excuse me, it has nothing to do with anything really pertaining to Sebastian's case, right? But this is where they'd rather spend their time instead of going on someone speaking with Deception Detective and that sort of thing. They also talk about not going on a vacation, but again, we're going to hear what Deception Detective says, and obviously a lie, because the question wasn't asked in the correct manner, right? Did you go on a vacation? No, we didn't go on a vacation, right? But they did leave town. It's in October, Grace. It is in October. I believe it's the 23rd, 24th, 25th. Pig Fest is. Yeah, I'm going to try to get there. I'm making plans for it. Because we need to. We all have to get together. That was my Psycho debut. Maman, good to see you. Thank you for being here. Thank you. You know, okay, guys, I just wanted to pop in and say that. But I mean, that's the drama. It's like going back and forth. And then, oh, we're not going to be nice to each other. Well, you know, I don't want to be in a place where somebody's treating me like shit. Okay? I'm just going to throw that one out there, too.
That's because the word vacation is subjective. If Chris personally defines it as a trip for fun or relaxation, he could honestly say they didn't take one, even if they were gone for days. And that's what I meant in the intro when I said that live interviews are the gold standard for catching liars. Imagine if Granny, instead of moving on to this next question about some private jet, had asked some key follow-up questions. Like, okay, no vacation, but did you leave town at all? Did you spend the night anywhere else besides your own home? Would you be surprised to hear that some neighbors report your house being vacant for 24 hours at a time? As I've said time and time again in my videos, most people will avoid lying at all costs, especially about things that could be easily disproved, like their whereabouts. So they'll try to deceive you without technically lying, for example, by being overly broad, or overly vague, or overly specific, like what I think Chris is doing here with the word vacation. Pay attention to this next part because Chris is going to do it again. See if you can catch it.
Okay, now that's out the way.
Are there 5 CPS reports?
I don't know.
Are there 5 that you know about?
Once again, I don't know.
Okay.
Does your family own a crematorium?
No.
Do you
What
know?
else?
Do you know the relative of Yada or Yada? Yala, what's her name? Anybody?
Her name
Oh,
is
yeah.
Yada.
Yada.
Katie's Aunt Yada. Can you tell us anything? Does she know Katie? Is she a close relative? Is she a real relative?
She may be a real relative, but I will tell you this. That woman doesn't know Katie. I couldn't tell you last time she saw Katie. And I will say this, because of the negative things that she has said, I hope she hears when I say this. She's not that important to Katie to give 2 flying shits about.
Fair enough. Now, Chris, your mother has recently been vocal, and I assume it is in protection of you. People keep making jokes like mama's boy and all that, but I'll be damned, we'd all do the same for our kids. But she is going at it. Is that really your mother's account on Facebook? Are you aware? Is that a real account?
My mother does have a Facebook account. Unless you show me what you're referring to, I don't know.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, there have been people out there that have made accounts saying they're me, and they're not.
We saw that in the backstage.
Oh, yeah. I have another one. Were you and Katie in Oregon in March?
Nope.
Okay. Were you ever suing a company when you were a janitor?
First, never been a janitor, and
I didn't think so. Okay.
That gentleman is from Pennsylvania, and
Yes, he is.
They intentionally put that up there to make it appear as this Chris Proudfoot, damn well knowing they are two separate people.
I know. I'm just asking because you gotta get it out, right?
And here's another one, and you can, of course, as you always feel comfortable saying, I'm not answering. But is it true that you all rented out your house over the summer?
Oh my
We haven't sold our house. We haven't rented our house. We haven't moved. We still live in the same house.
Or the dogs. Let's clear that up. The dogs still there.
Yeah.
When
the
you
dogs are
were
still there.
when you were 7 years old, did you father a child?
Yeah, that was
no. I mean, that would
Okay.
be very interesting, but no.
Okay.
No.
Has Dog the Bounty Hunter knocked down your door?
No.
No.
Dog the Bounty Hunter has yet to even try to contact me directly.
Oh, interesting.
Okay.
So I'll put that out there.
Chris is lying. That was my first thought when I heard this because the word directly wasn't part of the question. Chris added that in himself, so I reached out to Dog the Bounty Hunter on X to confirm my suspicions. And guess what? Dog and his team had contacted him. His denial was so specific and subjective, it was technically true. But was it misleading and deceptive? Absolutely. If he'd done this under oath, where you have to swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, I could see a judge holding him in contempt. But in the real world, we don't have that luxury. Your best defense against these clever verbal gymnastics are pointed follow-up questions. Okay, Chris, Dog didn't directly contact you, but has he attempted to contact you? Have he or any of his people tried contacting Katie or your attorneys?
There's quite a few of them, so let me get out my notebook. But no, seriously. So, are you aware? Or do you have a neighbor near you that is in contact with YouTubers that you're aware of?
I don't know who does what in my neighborhood, other than the households that we've been able to talk to, and they've been extremely helpful in the very beginning of the investigation, and even till now. There might be one or two who do not. Most of my neighborhood doesn't even know us.
Right.
They've never even spoken to us. It is a quiet neighborhood. It's sad that once again, it goes back to YouTube and people just doing things just to be malicious.
Yeah. Now I have another question. So I'm sure you're aware the Texas Roadhouse footage that had came out, and I'm sorry that was released on his birthday. I can't fathom what that did to you, Katie, and even Seth. But in that footage, are you aware, did Sebastian have a cell phone with him that night?
I don't know. I wasn't there.
Okay. And then I guess, would you want to know then what Kate, if Katie was taking photos of Sebastian, and if so, where they, like, did she send you a photo of him that night at the Texas Roadhouse, or do you have any idea what those photos were?
She took a photo. Yes, law enforcement knows exactly what the photo was and who it went to. And to clarify that, it went to me.
And I'm going to guess that his face is kind of in his salad eating.
Yes.
It's actually showing him eating all of his food.
Yeah. So of course they can't use that for the TBI poster, right? Like,
right.
It's not it's not a frontal face picture. It's dimly lit. And it's not like Katie and Chris or Seth pick the picture TBI uses, you guys.
Well, that was my next question. So I've been curious about this myself. Why does it appear that every photo we
Okay, guys. Okay, sorry. I just wanted to pop back in here. Okay. Oh, there we go. All right. Sorry about that. So I wanted to pop back on here and just say that, in my opinion, the Texas Roadhouse footage was very crisp and clear. They could have very well used a picture that was being taken at the table, across the table, in my opinion. That would have been the most up to date. I also have to disagree with Body Movin' when she says that it's not like Chris or Katie picks the pictures. Yes, they do. They're the ones that are giving the pictures to the TBI, right? To publish to everyone, have you seen this young man, right? Have you seen this boy? Have you seen Sebastian? Right? So there's that. Now, I do want to show you guys this video that I made really quick before we move on with this, but it is a comparison of the Texas Roadhouse, because when I first saw this, and again, this is Chris's words, he's saying that Katie took the picture of Sebastian while he was eating to show that he was eating all of his food. Why does Chris need to know that? You know, if you ask me, is Chris controlling? Yes, I would say so. If you're all the way in Memphis and this poor child is sitting here eating his food and you have to know about it, mind your own damn business, you big bully. But then she says he can't have, but then Katie goes off and says he can't have another role. I mean, talk about a mind F, like literally a mind F, right? So just bear with me here while I share the screen. Who lied about the Texas Roadhouse photo is the video.
Okay, guys, I just want
Here we
to
go.
hop on really quick because while I was off, I had some time to do deep dive into this research, and this is the picture that was logoed by the TBI when Sebastian went missing, and it was what a lot of us thought to be the Texas Roadhouse. Well, it is the Texas Roadhouse. It's just an older picture from a previous visit to the Texas Roadhouse by obviously Sebastian and Katie. You can see the menu, and it's just a small piece of the menu, but I did look it up online, and this is what I found. So if you can notice here that it's the same type of spots or cow print in the images, and so it was in fact from the Texas Roadhouse and not from, as I believe Seth said, from the Red Robin. You can also see here what appears to be macaroni and cheese and salmon, what he was reported to have eaten. And as you can see here, this is the photograph from the Texas Roadhouse on February 25th, 2024. Sebastian is wearing a Grogu t-shirt, and he did have a big bowl of what is presumed by me, in my perception, to be a bowl of pasta, and not the same supper that he had in the previous photos. They have done this the whole time, giving different photos, older photos, and passing them off to be Sebastian. What do you all think? I also want to share with you something that
Okay. So, again, you know, I think that he was eating probably a salad. I thought it was a pasta. I looked up the bowls to see what kind of, pasta bowl you would get at the table. I was kind of researching the restaurant a little bit there. And that's what I came up with. But now that they said it was salad, I can concede that that was probably salad, so that's fine. But I did want to kind of correct that mistake there on my part. But the menus definitely speak volumes to me. It speaks volumes to me that they couldn't use one of those really clear, crisp pictures. I mean, we could see it here. I mean, it's a good picture. I mean, and she would have had one from the view of him, of Sebastian, from across the table. You're telling me it's that dimly lit in the restaurant? No, ma'am. There's actually lights right above their table. I mean, what a crock of shit. And they don't show it, right? They don't show it. Show Poodles, thank you so much for gifting 5 Lady Freedom's Raw Narratives memberships. And if you got a membership from Show Poodles, please say thank you and welcome to the Dragon Tribe. I see Chaz D. Welcome to the Dragon Tribe, and thank you for thanking Show Poodles. Also, Show Poodles, a 6-month gift. Love you, Lady Freedom. Oh my gosh, a member for 6 months. Thank you so much, Show Poodles. Aw, I love you too. That is so great, guys. I love seeing that. I can't believe how long it's been since I've been going live. Like, if I see the OGs, right? That's what Hey Jude came in the other day, said I'm an OG. That's awesome. That's why people speculate about something being added to the meal to sedate, etc. It's weird as in my opinion. Yeah, she was preparing those rolls, definitely, Mom, and I know what you're talking about. Yeah, and then they play the violin. Oh, we put this out on Sebastian's birthday. Well, he needs to be found. You know, that was another thing that was quite, you know, thanks, Mom, and that was quite disturbing to me as well. Oh, let's blame it on everybody else. No, actually, I think it was a good time to bring that out. A very good time, especially since your PI put out some photos right before that of stills of the parking lot. That's definitely a Texas Roadhouse. Thanks, Milky Way girl. Good to see you. Yeah, I mean, I think so. Hey, Lil Redo, good to see you. You know what? I had a package I was waiting on this morning, so I'm late today. Later than I was going to be, because sometimes I want to do like earlier morning shows, but it didn't happen today. It's so much nicer getting ready in the morning too than in the afternoon, because once that sun hits, boy. Caesar salad with salmon. I think that's what it was, Diane. I do, now that I'm looking back, because I was trying to see like what that bowl was and what it could possibly have been, put in there. But not salad. Yeah, I think it was salad. Yeah, I do. Now I do. Before I didn't. Even the knife in the Roadhouse. Even the knife is a Roadhouse knife. Thank you, Milky Way. I eat out way too much. Maybe the Caesar salad or their coleslaw. Thank you. Yeah, and I love Texas Roadhouse. There's one right down the street from me, actually. I just haven't been there to that steakhouse here. Now, I've been to the Longhorn here, and it was fantastic. Those Brussels sprouts, guys. Whoo, those are some good Brussels sprouts. And their steak was amazing. What else did I get? I got something else. I forget now. Hey, Sugar Magnolia. Good to see you. Oh, hey, Sweetie. Thank you for becoming a new member. Welcome to the Dragon Tribe. Thank you. Oh, you guys are awesome. All right, here, let's go back to this. But I just want to kind of point that out again. They could have given that photo of the Texas Roadhouse. It would have been a full-on shot, right? We would have been able to see Sebastian's eyes. We would have been able to see his facial structure, from the front of him, rather from the side view. But even from this side view, and is still from the Texas Roadhouse video, it's still a really good picture, in my opinion. Other than the fact that it's an off picture, right? More of a profile picture. But still, we need profile pictures as well. All of them are important. And, this is us looking at Sebastian as he was that day. The last time we saw him was getting into the vehicle, right? Katie's vehicle, into the front seat. Right. It did look like penne. Yeah, penne pasta with chicken a la creme. Yes, I agree. That's what it looked like to me too, or like an Alfredo, right? And because I think a big pasta bowl. But I don't think it was, now that I'm looking at it. Oh, Longhorn is so good, Lori. It's so good. But I really do want to go check out the Texas Roadhouse too one of these days. It's kind of I don't know. I might be over there crying, or like I might get teary-eyed, because I haven't been to Texas Roadhouse in a long time. Mom and Up says I need to get a better job so I can have some money again. Mom. I feel that. No, I love this job though. This is the best. And I don't even look at it like that really, but it's yeah, I enjoy it. I used to really enjoy talking real estate too though. But true crime is really interesting to me. And we just need to find Sebastian. He's out there somewhere, guys. He's out there. We're gonna find him. I know we will. Mom and Up says we love it, but Haynes can't handle it. Sounds like because it's so loud in there. Yeah, take shifts and we'll go in. Oh, the boys' favorite restaurant chain, Sebastian has good taste, in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, I know that's got to be hard, Mom, and it is loud in there. Katie had mentioned once about Sebastian not really liking the hibachi as much because of the clanking noises, because that could be overwhelming. Diane says, I looked at the menu after the footage from the Texas Roadhouse came out, and the salmon comes with a choice of side that could be a salad. Oh, okay. So it could have been, yeah. And a Caesar salad usually comes in a round bowl like that too. Yeah, you're right, Diane. And that's what I was doing too. I was kind of, well, I was shocked to see this, right? Photo of Sebastian, because I always thought the photo of Sebastian and Katie sitting on the same side of the booth was the picture from that night. But come to find out, it wasn't. So then I'm over there researching it, and everything. But again, look at how much time is wasted. Time could have been spent on, looking for him or finding other clues, and not comparing the photos and thinking, oh my gosh, were we duped by the TBI? Who told us that this was that night? All of it. Lady, did they really find skeletal remains near Summer's property? I haven't heard that, Sandy. Oh, I have not heard that. It does look like a pasta plate, right? It does, Faye. It does. It still does look like a pasta plate to me. But again, Chris having to have video or, photo proof, that Sebastian ate his dinner. I don't like that. I'm sorry. I know that they were trying to make it seem like, no big deal. And here's what's going on with that or whatever. But in my opinion, that's horrible. And poor Sebastian for having to, deal with that crap, in my opinion. He should be able to eat in peace, please, and let him have a damn roll.
We have available of Sebastian is at a younger age and does not fit with what he looks like today.
So any of the photos that Katie and I have been able to provide to law enforcement have been the most accurate, up-to-date photos. What Seth provides, and I don't know what he provides, so I'm not going to try to speak on that. That's not fair. I don't know what he's provided to Ellie or to whatever else. I know what he has in some of his videos and things like people put out there, and he's had some tasteful like his memories. Those are his memories. And no, we're not going to give people every single memory. Those are ours. Keep in mind, we are parents.
Right.
We have our own moments that we cherish deeply. That's not for everybody in this world to know. Those are for us. All three parents know them.
Now, there was a video put out of a classmate at one of the gatherings for Sebastian, and she gave a FFA award. Were you aware that he was supposedly doing this class via the internet?
I don't know anything about it, so I can't speak on that.
And this is going to be a tougher question. Again, you don't have to answer, but were you mandated not to be allowed in the house in the month of February?
No, I was never mandated not to be at my house.
Okay.
You said on the Nancy Grace show that you were last in the house at the beginning of February, but that you couldn't say why, or I can't remember the exact
I said
verbiage.
I couldn't tell you the exact date, and I'm still not going to tell you the exact date.
If I guessed it, would you tell me?
Once again, ma'am, I'm sorry, but that is one thing that law enforcement asked not to be released.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And I said that in an interview a long time ago. Law enforcement does not want that information out there. I am not releasing it. It's just know the last time I saw Sebastian was early February until I came home February 26th. That's all I can tell you.
Okay. I understand.
Now, this green hoodie guy, do you know anything about that? Can Katie explain, or can you explain why this gentleman was next to the car? What that actual, what was happening in that footage? Is that footage correct?
What I can tell you about that is law enforcement has talked to Katie. She's been able to answer all their questions. And once again, there is nothing to that situation. I mean, law enforcement even put out a statement. Has nothing to do with it. Has nothing.
Katie was seen on camera talking to a mystery man while Chris was out of town on work. He's not suspicious at all about that. And how about when he said that lots of their neighbors have never even spoken to them? As the parents of a missing kid, I would have expected them to initiate those conversations. If your kid goes missing, wouldn't one of the first things you do is go around and canvass the neighborhood and knock on all the neighbors' doors? It's very suspicious that they haven't spoken to every single one of their neighbors. And finally, if we take Chris at his literal word, he said that he hadn't seen Sebastian from the beginning of February until the 26th, which is supposedly after Sebastian had gone missing. Now, maybe Chris means that he hadn't seen him in a new photo or a new video, but according to his own story, Katie had sent him a picture of Sebastian from the Texas Roadhouse Grill. So wouldn't that have been the most recent time he saw Sebastian before the 26th? As before, these are all situations where a pointed follow-up question or two could have clarified things. They could have either exonerated Chris, like we saw with my recent post on X about some apparent inconsistencies in his story on Nancy Grace, which were clarified by my eagle-eyed viewers, or they could have condemned him, pushing him deeper into a more and more obvious lie. Sadly, I don't think Chris will ever give me the opportunity to interview him, but we can continue analyzing this one. On your screen now is part 2 because I think a lot of people missed that one, as well as my Sebastian Rogers playlist. Until next time, stay true. Chris is lying.
Okay, guys. Whoops. There we go. All right, I just wanted to pop back on here. So a couple of things, obviously, that were picked up on by the deception detective was that, you know, Chris was up there saying that he didn't see Sebastian until the 26th, right? But he saw him, a new picture of him on the 25th, right? And that was just admitted to by Chris. So, you know, again, and then they love to play. Chris likes to be in an environment. He's not going to get on with deception detective because deception detective is going to ask follow-up questions. He's not going to let Chris just skate by with, you know, and then, oh, if we beg you, if we guess with you, you know, no. To me, it's not cute or funny. And, you know, I saw you guys getting, you know, upset in the chat about it because it is. It's infuriating, honestly. It's ridiculous. It really is. And something is way off with them, with the needing proof, right? Yeah. And they say, oh, there's no proof. Like, they're so confident and snarky about it, you know? Yeah, they do have the mac and cheese, and it is like a white sauce. That's true, Milky Way girl. Yeah. Could be that. But it looks like it came in like a little ramekin dish or whatever, you know, like the sides do. In my opinion, she was putting out misinformation about everything, like younger photos and photos of fun times, including showing him bowling. To my understanding, that they didn't bowl that day because of the leagues. Yes. Yeah, because of the leagues. Yeah. Exactly. Yep. And they just walked around and played games, right? And that colossal popcorn. But there's no such thing as a colossal popcorn either. They have the colossal cookie, right, on the menu, because we looked at that menu too, Town Chat, you know, and even our friend Trent, he's a mod here, was bringing that up in Voices of Truth too. So no worries, Town Chat. But yeah, I mean, so those are some really important things to bring up, right? And in my opinion, you know, we're not going to see Chris or Katie wanting to talk to anybody who wants to get the answers. If they are invited up on a panel where they can drink and, you know, shoot the shit, then they're all for it. But if it's a situation, you know, in my opinion, where they're, sorry guys, there we go. Oh, here, I'll remove this with them. There we go. It's a little bit more normal, isn't it, than that we're used to? Except for I want to be where we could see Sebastian. Sorry, guys. Play our little game of where's Lady Freedom gonna land. Okay, there we go. Okay, so but that's the thing. I mean, you know, that's kind of what we're dealing with here, is that they don't want to go on and talk to people who are really trying to find out where Sebastian is, right? I would respect them completely if they were going on channels that agreed with them. That doesn't bother me one bit. But it's the fact that they're, I mean, again, polishing turds, right? Like, oh, look, they don't own a funeral home. They don't own a crematory. They don't own a private jet or a yacht. I never thought they did. What does that have to do with finding Sebastian? And if people want to think that, who cares? People are going to think what they're going to think. They're going to think what they are going to think. If you're going to go out and put yourself out on a platform, even like YouTube, any of it, people are going to look at your content. They're going to think what they want to think. At the end of the day, you cannot control that. No matter how much you try, no matter how much you worry about it, no matter how mad you get, you know, what are you going to do? Spontaneously combust? That's not going to hurt anybody but yourself. So, I mean, you can get mad all day. Get as mad as you want. Mom says, Little Red, my husband is driving, so I have a chance to be active chatter. Woohoo, yay! Thanks, Mama's husband. No, but I mean, you know, it just is what it is, guys. And Brock, good to see you. And I'm not going to put the sugar on Chris's cookies for him. I'm not going to, you know, I'm not going to put the gravy on the mashed potatoes. I'm going to serve them up. You know, that's what he likes to say, or whatever his weird euphemisms are. 97, hey there, Ann Reynolds, good to see you. Hope you're feeling better today. Aw, thanks, Little Red. That's so sweet. Put in your heart, put you in our prayers to find peace in your heart. Hugs. Yay, Little Reddo. Thank you. See what I mean? I like people that are nice, right? Guys, I would rather have nice chatters in here than everybody going, you know, completely berserk on everybody and, you know, being hateful. It doesn't help the situation. We all got to be there for each other. And these situations that we talk about are tough. It's not fun to talk about little ones missing, like Emmanuel Haro is missing. Still, we have, you know, and horrible details have come out about Jake, the father, right? Horrible details. It's the stuff monsters are made of. It really is. And we have Sebastian Rogers, who is still missing, right? We have Summer Wells, who is still missing. Layla Santinello is still missing. All of these people matter. All of these people matter. My friend Rachel's husband, Jesse, right? In my opinion, all of these are her story, are distractions to not put the focus on the crucial hour, look here, not there. I agree, Faye. It's like, you know, it's not only pulling the wool over our eyes, but yeah, they're distracting us to be like, oh, over here. You know, it's like when you get pickpocketed, that's how you don't know that somebody just stole your wallet, you know, because they tap you on the shoulder over here and they're steady grabbing your wallet out of your pocket in the back. You know, thanks GA64, you know, and so, you know, there's just something really wrong with the fact that she doesn't want to talk to anybody legitimate that can help, right? Not trying to get in touch with Cold Case Foundation. But see, look, when these people talk to Katie, they're going to realize that she was the last person in the house with her son. So honestly, she is stuck between a rock and a hard place, if we're being honest, and we're living in the reality of the situation, right? So she calls up the Cold Case Foundation, for example, right? And she says, hey, I need your help. And they say, okay, well, what happened with your son? She starts telling them about Sebastian being missing. She's either going to have to lie her ass off, or she's going to have to come up with a better story than she's given all of us. All of the doors were locked. None of his shoes were missing. He didn't take a phone. Come on. Like, and they're going to be like, you were the last one with him though, right? I mean, rightfully so. And they're not trying to be a bully to Katie. They're not trying to be hateful towards Katie. But when they're trying to really find out what happened to Sebastian, Katie holds the key. Katie absolutely holds the key. And I think that's what we'll go over tonight is Peter Hyatt's interview with Seth, right? We'll do that tonight on Lady Freedom's late night show, right? That we have. I haven't come up with a good title yet, but I will. Hey, Kiki, good to see you. And, you know, and that's the thing. As we keep exploring the case, as we keep watching these older interviews or live streams, you know, with panel guests and things, there's going to be things that are going to click that didn't click before, or we might see some similarities. Some things might make more sense looking back on the situation. So I'm hoping to do that with you all. Thank you, Detroit Rock City. Oh, we gotta have a party. Oh, yay. Thank you guys for hitting that like button. That's fantastic. All right, guys, let's do the party. Yay. All right, here we go.
Weezer, there's someone I'd like you to meet. That looks like an autopsy.
Laughter through tears is my favorite emotion. I'm so mad I don't know what to do. I want to know why. Lord, I wish I could understand. I just want to hit something. I want to hit it hard.
Here, hit this. Go ahead, Malin. Slap her. Are you crazy? Hit her. Are you high, Clary? We'll sell T-shirts saying I slapped Weezer Boudreaux. Hit her. Weezer, this is your chance to do something for your fellow man. Knock her lights out, Malin. Let go of me.
But y'all don't say that.
Malin, you just missed a chance of a lifetime. Half a Chickapin parish and give the eye teeth to take a whack of Weezer. You are a pig from hell. Weezer, I was just kidding. Come back. Oh.
Weezer, what brings you here? Shut up.
Not a very Christian thing to do. Oh, and now you gotta lighten up.
If you can't say anything nice about anybody, come sit by me.
Looks like two pigs fighting under a blanket.
A girl is fair game until there's a ring on it. And I mean a wedding ring. An engagement ring just means she's ready for one more mistake. Okay, this is perfect. Watch this.
Sometimes I wish I was smooth like Zahid. Of all the people I know, he's the best at girls.
Thanks, Weezer. Nothing like a good piece of ass.
And that's how you do it. Now, I'm gonna go hide in the back because that guy said he's gonna kick my ass and he has a neck tattoo, so...
I am pleasant. Damn it! I just saw Drum eating in this morning at the Piggly Wiggly, and I smiled at the son of a bitch, for I could help myself.
Honey, time marches on, and eventually you realize it's marching across your face.
All right, guys, that was the Dragon Party, Lady Freebird Party. Oh, I love Steel Magnolia. It's such a good movie, right? Yeah, such a good movie. Sasha Johnson says, red-eyed KP slurs CP in more ways than one. But never forgot Sebastian Rogers is an active Amber Alert. Exactly. And why no vehicle description? I mean, we talked about that too. It's wild, Sasha. It is. Momming It Up says, in my opinion, there's a lot of shady stuff with them. Anyone that seems to ask questions and not just focus on Poof vanished or Seth, well, they get extremely nasty and vindictive. I had to stop sharing. Well, I mean, yeah, And I mean, I don't even like to review people that I'm not fond of, but this is where they're making these statements, right? I mean, you know, and I'll respectfully disagree with things. So, hopefully, but I know what you're saying. We are closer than we think. Circumstantial cases are extremely common. I agree, Sasha. Absolutely. Conviction rate in Tennessee last time I checked was 80% for a no body case, by the way. So whoever did this to Sebastian, wherever they have him, they put him, whatever they've done, we can bring them to justice. There's a ton of evidence in reality, 100%. I agree with that, Sasha, you know, and I think they want us to think that, you know, we're defeated here. Just to calm things down. And after all I've seen, I will shout from the rooftops if needed, because this could be any of our children. Yes, Maman, exactly. Yes, it's not okay. And I thank Lady for her advocacy here. Thank you. And thank you, Maman. I just shared you yesterday because it was really good stuff. You know, the comparisons are important for us to hear one statement and then another statement that contradicts that statement, right? Or consistencies too. So inconsistencies and consistencies, we need to see those. That's how we're going to get to the bottom of where the truth may lie, in my opinion. You know, so we do need to look over those. Holly S says, Mom and I agree. That's what I don't understand. This really could happen to anyone. Exactly. And in that town as well. You know, I would feel very worried, in my opinion. You know, hey, Vic, good to see you. Thank you for hitting the like button. Thank you. We have a vehicle description and we are going to find it. It's out there somewhere, Sasha. It's out there somewhere. Or someone's disposed of it, even worse, and then we'll find it too. You know, if they think they were going to, you know, drive it into some water or something like that. Lil Red says, because I think, in my opinion, they don't want the folks to know that LE knows who the car is if they don't want to give away their case. Just my thought on it. Well, and I mean, that's true, but typically they will always put an Amber Alert out with a vehicle description. It just seems like they're hiding a lot of key evidence. That's what bothers me, but I get what you're saying completely. Bless says 100% momming it up. Busy mama, that's why I'm here. If it was my child, I would be asking for help. Absolutely. And we can get to the bottom of it if we all put our heads together. And then also with the letter writing campaigns, Seth put a bunch of people in the chat today, people that we could be writing to. I saw Diane say that she likes to call. Guys, sometimes we're better at calling and speaking with someone on the phone. If you're good on the phones, definitely try that. I mean, that's a very great way to connect with a person too, rather than just writing words. And we've talked about that too here, you know, how text can be misinterpreted or misread, things like that. I noticed hotels were prevalent in Wells and Rogers. Yes, I noticed that too, Sasha. That's a really good point. Yeah. Yep. Little Red. Yep. Yeah. Well, thank you, GA64. Thanks. Oh, thank you for being in the bushes. I love all the people that are in the bushes, guys. I love, you know, having you guys all here. I appreciate everyone just listening and us going over these interviews again. And just with a fresh set of eyes, it doesn't hurt, right? And then us putting our heads together. So, but yeah, let's go over Peter Hyatt tonight, since it kind of corresponds with what we were talking about in last night's episode, you know, regarding the Web Sleuths interview, because Chloe does bring up Peter Hyatt and that it was a really well done interview. So let's talk about it. Katie holds the key, right? Let's talk about it. And I will see you all tonight, probably around 11 or 11:30 Eastern. But I really appreciate everyone being here, and please take care of yourselves. Please be kind to one another on the street. Let's set a good example, represent Sebastian well, because we are Sebastian's army. We are Sebastian strong. And let's see how many people we can get out to the Pig Fest to, you know, hand out flyers, put the t-shirts on. Let's all band together and get this. Let's bring Sebastian home, you know? So I love you all so much. Thank you all for being here, and I will see you later.